Hello, Type 1 people. It's that time again when Uncle Sam and Blighty get together and discuss life over the airwaves.
And welcome to the new home of the Type 1 Radio Lounge on the Type 1 Radio Lounge Network.
Well, hopefully tonight we're going to be talking about the Occupy situation around the world. We're going to be talking about fracking. We've got some great music, so hope you're going to enjoy our little offering for this evening. And we have a new call number tonight as well. Our new number is 347-205-9657. So if you want to call in the show, please feel free. Give us a ring. It's great to hear from you. Great to hear from our American friends and also any European friends or anyone from anywhere else in the world, really.
And if you also, you can also Skype in. So if you go to the Type 1 Radio Lounge Network page, you just hit the Skype button there. If you go to http /tobtr.com /s/2533-975. You will find all the information there. So
well, that's easy for you to say, Nick.
And tonight we've got a special guest with us. We've got the one and only Jake from Holman, who's been reporting down at Occupy Brighton for us. How's it going, Jake?
Oh, I didn't realise I was a special guest.
Well,
that's
you're always special, so.
You're a guest, and you're special.
Oh, thanks.
Well, yeah, so, yeah, we've got a bit of an Occupy thing going on in Brighton, haven't we? And I know that you've actually been down there. I've only driven past. I blinked and I nearly missed it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit bigger now.
It's a little
I don't
bit.
know when you went. There's probably, I'd say it's probably about 20, 30 tents.
It's intense.
It's intense.
It's quite, I don't know if there is anybody in tents, actually.
There's about 4 or 5 people and they've got like about 7 tents each.
Empty tents.
Yeah, it kind of looks like when the Brighton Festival's on and, you know, there seems to be marquees and things put up on that area of ground. I thought that's what it was, actually. I think that's why I never really registered in my
I thought it was the Lady Boys of Bangkok.
Yeah.
No, you wished it was the Lady Boys of Bangkok.
Yeah. For anyone to Brighton, when the Brighton Festival goes on, then we have a show that comes over from Bangkok called the Lady Boys of Bangkok. So just use your imagination.
Not from Bangkok, they all just work in restaurants in Brighton.
It's a great show, apparently.
Also, if you want to head over to the friendshipagenda.com, I'm sure there'll be people in the chat there. You'll be. I don't think you'll be able to listen to the show from there because we haven't set up the Blog Talk embedded player. That was from the. Yeah, I asked Freeman to do that yesterday, but because Freeman, Jamie and Monty are in New York at the moment at the the film festival there, which from what Monty's been writing in his little blogs sounds very interesting. So they said hi and they send their love to everybody.
Well, hi to you too.
The Big Apple. And I'm sure Freeman will have his show on later on the Oracle Broadcasting Network. And also, Crater X will be having his show on the American Freedom Radio, and hopefully he'll be bringing me up again. We have a caller.
We have a caller. Who's this?
So 480, you are on the air.
Hello.
Hello. This is
Hello.
Jay.
It's Jay.
I had to come by your number because it led me to the page you created for me. It wouldn't take me to your regular page because you got something scheduled for me on with the same address. I guess I don't know.
Oh, that must be your show that's coming up on Sunday, is it?
Well, if you want to, if you want us to conference you into this call instead on Skype, do you want us to do that?
Yeah, why don't you conference me in with Skype? I'll hang up and
Okay.
You know my number.
Okay.
Hey, listen, fucking just stay there, no?
No, but it's costing him money.
Okay,
yeah.
right, hang on. Okay. Quick.
You've done it. Okay, so while we're just getting back in touch with Jay on the Skype, let's talk to Jake, who's also...
Talking about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one key point which I thought was quite telling, really, is that they had. Can everyone else hear that in the background? That there's like about a minute delay, about sort of quiet. Or is that just me?
It's just you.
Yeah, no.
Oh, right. Oh really? Okay. It's quite strange. I'm hearing a conversation that we had about a minute ago.
Yeah, talking about the Occupy Brighton here. I know you've been down there, and yeah, go on.
Well, yeah. So they have a general meeting. It's all very well organised. And they had it's really off-putting. There's a massive delay. But anyway, they had the general meeting, and one of the key points that they made was that they were going to change the. I can't concentrate.
Okay.
I've got a really loud delay. And
Okay, right. Jake, if you
what shall I do?
If you've got the show page open, turn it off.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off because you can just hear the show through the Skype connection here.
That's it. Brilliant. Perfect.
Hey, that's what I did on the show last
Driving me crazy. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So they had the general
Please continue.
Okay, they had the general meeting. One of the key points I noticed, and this is on their Facebook page. This is only Brighton, so I'm not talking about London or anything.
No,
this
that's all right.
is my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed in their agenda. I think the original agenda was probably similar to the London and the Wall Street, whatever. And they talked about the interest on the money supply. So they said we should get rid of the interest on the money supply, which anyone who knows sort of basics about the monetary system, that's pretty straightforward. That's an unnecessary, simple. It wouldn't be a simple process in reality, but it is actually essentially a simple process to get rid of that.
So we have debt-free money.
So we have debt-free money. The money is supplied, but not by a private bank, but just supplied, just put into the system by the government, whatever form that takes.
What you borrow, you give back. But
yeah, so that yeah, and then in their statement, so they have the general meeting. And they have to reach consensus before anything becomes anything changes in the plan, in the agenda, in their sort of statement. And so they reached consensus on very few things. One of the few things they did reach consensus on was actually eradicating this from the agenda and changing it from wiping out interest on the money supply to investigating new ways of creating money or something like that. Something very vague and woolly, and totally stripping the point, to my mind, is what the key point of the whole movement, the whole Occupy movement, is challenging the banking system and the hold that it has, and the interest on the money supply is the key to that. And that's just, just for whatever reason, that just disappeared from the local Brighton agenda. So for me, it shows that people don't really know what they're dealing with. And then so I commented on that on the Facebook. I said, well, why are you making something that's actually essential just something vague and woolly? And I was just reading actually the reply that came. I just saw it now. And so this is someone who's probably a key member of the. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I don't know, Anna Marie. And she said the discussion at the GA about the statement about the abolition of interest on money brought the following points. One, to be an inclusive movement, language needs to be simplified as much as possible without losing its impact or meaning, so that nobody feels excluded by terms they don't understand. So you've got a movement which is trying to change the status quo, but if that status quo isn't understood by the majority of people, we don't touch it because it's not inclusive. So this is what I just find frustrating about. Am I making sense? I can't know.
Yes. So what you're saying is that because people just couldn't understand this concept of debt-free money,
Yeah.
And they had to strike it from their agenda because people
They didn't have to. I mean, someone actually must have brought it up
Right.
in the first place for it. It wasn't like, they sort of went through all the list and said, did everyone understand that? This point, this point, this point. Someone must have brought it up and said, well, do we really want that in there? And they all went, well, I don't know if we do really, because we never, well, some of us don't really understand it, and some. So then she goes on to say, anyway, so that was point one, because it's too complicated for anyone to understand, which it isn't. But this point number two, the finance and banking world has intentionally alienated the general public by using obscure language and mystifying its process, and we want to be the opposite of that, which is fair enough. That makes sense.
You've been using legalese.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can understand that, but that doesn't mean you don't deal with the issues if it's slightly complex, which it isn't. I mean, it isn't a complex issue anyway. Just because some people might sort of get their head around it or haven't been exposed to it, So, and then point number three was not everybody keeping a monetary system, even a positive money system, i.e. one without interest rates, is the answer. So not everyone believes that's the answer. And we wanted a statement that would include the exploration of all possible alternatives, including resource-based economics, where there is no money. And then she goes on to say her personal belief is that money is actually a problem in itself, and that whether you've got interest on it or not. So the sort of impression I get from that is, you got people who, instead of dealing with something practical and saying, okay, this is a practical step which we can educate people about, it's a trap which we're in, it doesn't need to be there, it's private banks creating money, taking the wealth, it's essentially the process by which wealth is siphoned from the 9% to the 1%, which is what Occupy is all about. It's the 99 and 1. So that is the process of inflation is the process by which that happens. Wealth moves from the mass to the elite. So we're going to get rid of that. And because she's saying some people don't even want money at all, and they want a resource-based economy, which is a zeitgeist sort of a Venus Project type theory, which to me is just absolute. It's just nonsense. I mean, resource-based economy. If you've heard anyone trying to explain what a resource-based economy is, they just sound like they sound like an idiot, really, because it just can't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the type of system that they seem to want is what the Brandon from Friends of Freeman and Friendship Agenda, the sort of the pool,
the labour pool.
Yeah. So you put in something that you your skills, and then you take out skills of others.
Yeah.
I mean that's a really good system.
Yeah, that's it. But there's a difference between. I mean, you can have it the same Brighton. We've got the Let system, or we did have. I don't know if it's still the Let system, which is So say I'm a carpenter. I fix somebody's shed. I get one let, or I get one token. I can then go to someone down the street who I can buy, say, a haircut for this one token. Well, they might not want the shed fixed, but you essentially need some kind of token, whether it's whatever it is. You need something to facilitate trade between people who might. I might not want a haircut, but I might want. Do you see what I mean? You have to have some way of mediating between people who, unless you're saying like trade beyond the boundaries of your own next door neighbour or whatever is unwanted. I think I don't think many people would agree. I don't see anything wrong with eating bananas, even though they're growing on the other side of the planet. If it's if we had free energy and it didn't cost anything to bring them, which we have got free energy, it's all being suppressed, it's all part of it. But there's nothing wrong with trade, and there's nothing wrong with a token system, which is what you call money.
You also have the idea of a time labour pool. So you put in your time, and you sort of that accrues sort of a credit. So
that's it, a credit, or a token or whatever. Yeah.
You've got a two-tier system there. Well, not a two-tier system, but a two-pronged attack on them. So you offer skills, but you also offer your time.
Yeah.
So these
but not everyone's going to. I mean, what does that mean if you offer your time? Because you could offer. I mean, someone might have a plan to do something which you morally don't agree with. I mean, you can't just neutralise your time and have it as a. You need some kind of neutral, like you say, a credit, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the best person to talk about that would be Brandon, because he knows all about that. I'm only going off what my understanding of the concept. But he's got a little video on YouTube called the Art of Giving, is it called? Muzz wants to say something.
If a bus driver drives a bus for 37.5 hours and delivers thousands of people to where they want to go, how are those people going to pay him back?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We can work locally between friends, doing favours for one another and keeping a diary of what you owe each other, but the general scheme of things,
of course, yeah.
No chance.
Well, that's what I find frustrating, and you've got people who are sabotaging the potential to educate people on a wide scale about key practical points of an unnecessarily corrupt aspect of the banking system, and they're saying we can't do that because some people don't even want money, and it's like kids just saying, well, let's not deal with reality and let's just pretend that we can live in a world without money and without property, and it's this sort of anti-capitalist, vague, woolly, feel-good sort of left-wing stuff, which just doesn't get anyone anywhere, really. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't educate anyone. Everyone who's got practical, like you're saying about the bus driver, everyone lives in the real world, looks at life from a practical point of view, just sees through it, and it doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't educate anyone. It doesn't awaken people to the possibilities of a different way of living, because it's just it's sort of childlike and in a not in a good way, but just it's naive. It's not practical. There's nothing wrong with money.
We have a token system. It's called money.
Yeah, it just doesn't need to have debt attached.
And there are many thousands of people totally unwilling to do anything for anybody who just prefer to be handed the tokens.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with a token. A token is totally neutral. I mean, from my point of view, anyway, there's just nothing wrong with it. So I just think it's a shame that you've got something which could be potentially very powerful, this movement of changing just this one.
Maybe they just haven't come across those sort of ideas, or if they don't understand the concepts of the debt-free money, then maybe they need to just research that a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is fear, I think, because if you're talking about something which you don't understand, people are they're afraid to let go of their beliefs as well, aren't they? I don't know. I don't quite know what Occupy's about if it's not about that.
Well, is that just Occupy Brighton, or is that Occupy wherever?
That's what's going on in Occupy Brighton.
Yeah.
This is which is a very small kind of token, kind of following what's going on sort of movement. It's not.
I did speak to someone who'd been in London for a week, and they'd spent a whole week camping up there, and they came back, and he's a really nice guy, but he's not. I wouldn't say he was. Probably what you might call a sort of mainstream protest type sort of mindset. And he came back really sort of just disillusioned and just saying, well, it's just become more about the camp, it's become more about the process, it's like just a bunch of squatters. I mean, to give them credit, it's really, from when I was down there, they seemed, really keen to keep it clean and well organised, and, it's good that they want this process where everyone gets a voice. But I have to say that whoever came up with the hand signals thing, I don't know whether that started in Wall Street or London.
It started in America.
Was that the whole thing?
Yeah.
Because to me, that just reeks of cultism, and it's just for me, it's completely unnecessary, and it's alienating for the majority of people. What we want is something inclusive, and all these weird hand signals.
Explain that for me. What are they doing?
Okay, sorry. Well, when you go to your first general meeting, they go through the hand signals, which are a short, they're like a shortcut to eradicate lots of voices all shouting out, oh yeah, it's good, I like that, or no, disagree. They have, you wave your hands in the air like you just don't care, or you've shaken down below your belt, which means you're not sure about something. And then you have the certain timeout signals for technical point, and I don't know.
Shows your diamond. Do they have that one?
I think it might be. I've seen the video of that.
I went out onto the streets recently, and I interviewed someone about what they thought of about the monetary system, and here's what they had to say.
Oh, I like money. Yeah, I like money though. Can't believe you like money too.
Yeah, I like money too.
You guys been digging Idiocracy then, huh?
Yeah. Thank you, Reset.
Hi, Reset.
I'm just going to have a wank, sorry. You just reminded me. Oh, they don't call it that, do they, in that film? What do they call it? Self-pleasuring or something, I can't remember.
I think they called it baiting.
But bait, yeah, okay. I'm baiting. I'm baiting, yeah. Leave me alone, Mum, I'm baiting.
I think that's one of the funniest films. One of the best films I've seen in years.
It's just unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Reset, for putting that on the Dropbox.
Yeah, you can see why I didn't do quite so well over here, Adam. They really tried to quash that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
too close to the zone, I think.
Social commentary on the state of America at the moment.
Yeah. The one.
Well, Mike Judge has always been quite a good social commentator for my money. Beavis and Butthead was quite spot on, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's a little lady, isn't it? Old Mikey Judge.
Yeah, apart from the whole overpopulation thing that they come up. I thought, I thought, most of the other points were very spot on. What's that big machine they've got that says, here's your big fat ass prize?
You cannot afford big ass prize. Come back when you
can afford them. You cannot afford to feed your children. You are an unfit mother.
Wow, here you guys are quoting the movie. I'll have to go back and watch it again. It's been a while.
Yeah, keep up.
Oh, everyone's a winner. It's
so
just,
good, yeah.
It's so funny. And I mean, that was about 4 years ago, was it? When was it? About 2007, something like that. It came out. And
yeah, it was something like that.
Just every year it gets more and more poignant.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I thought you were just going to play it the one time. I didn't know you were going to have it play and actually saying it the 3 times.
I couldn't stop myself. We've actually got an English version as well, but I don't think it's loaded up at the moment.
No.
Is that the Tesco one?
That's it, yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I think
oh, you said it, right?
Yeah, I said it sounds a bit like testicle.
Bad Chick didn't think that, thought that there was too much love in Howard's voice when he was saying it.
Yeah, he didn't sound bored enough. He really sounded like he loved us. I know, it's hard for him. But yeah, that's a good point though that you're making, Jake, earlier. We've kind of trivialised the whole thing a little bit here, but shame on you. Sorry, yeah, shame on us. That you're saying that they've kind of moved their goalposts a little bit just because some points are just a little bit too difficult for people to understand. And it would have made more sense maybe just to have made bullet points underneath things. So, maybe to bring up, discuss and educate people about this idea of debt-free money, and then take it from that stage and then say, right, well, once we've got this through to people, then, well, let's look at what the options are for a no-money system, and, perhaps go through it in a bit more of a rational, rational, I don't... Being rational, is it a time to be rational now? I don't know, but it just feels like that they're they're kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater by just going, right, we're going to do it like this, and it's
I think it's just to be what's always going to be the case with any kind of movement. I mean, essentially, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's all about individuals anyway. So, whatever, I mean, movements are always going to fail in that sense of creating something. You can't ever be behind something other than your own belief or your own. I mean, you can't. The only way that movements really work is just by creating an atmosphere in which people can be themselves. And so it doesn't really matter in a way. It's not like I'm sort of being negative or critical. I'm just saying it's just a shame in a way that more people aren't open to. It would be nice, if there was more of a sort of consensus on that being a key problem.
I know.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Go on, Rick. I was just going to say, to go along with that, I mean, you talk about, is this a time to be, rational? I mean, to go along with what you were just saying, I mean, to every person is probably going to have a different definition of what rationale exactly is,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
And also, I think you've got to really critique the protest demonstration situation.
Yeah.
I think protesting automatically puts you on the bad foot because
I agree. Yeah.
It seems like it has negative connotations. Protesting, particularly since the riots over here, has got bad press, which I think it was orchestrated. Whereas demonstrating
a demonstration is just showing how something works, isn't it? I mean, so demonstrations in supermarkets of particular items. And so it's just a standpoint whereby you can show your point of view or way of how something could work.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really positive way. If lots of people come together with different ideas of how they see things could work.
About demonstrating our frustration with the banking system as opposed to protesting. And I think there are sort of career protesters.
Exactly.
And we need to get away from those. As Freeman says, we also need to occupy the home and show that non-compliance is probably the way forward.
And actually demonstrate how to move forward without compliance to that system. That would be a better demonstration of how to live a beautiful life and a beautiful existence for the future, rather than just rocking up as
a... made a really good point a couple of weeks ago by not using the corporations for like 2 years, is everybody, or I don't think he was using as long as that.
Not as long, it was a matter of weeks, wasn't it? 8 weeks or something?
Yeah.
So
if you didn't go to the major corporations for your food, blah blah.
Yeah, if you boycott Costco for a week.
Yeah. That they would fail because people would be. That's a demonstration. So.
But it has to be a lifestyle thing, doesn't it? Because that's the point. If you say, let's do it for 2 months or whatever, not everyone's going to do it for those 2 months. If everyone, but you can never reach. That's it. You can never reach consensus in that kind of thing. It's like, if everyone just did this for 1 week, so and so would happen. But it's not. It doesn't sort of work. Everything's always just an individual choice, and then that just has to be a lifelong choice, in a way. And then that's how you live your life. And if everyone, then it's kind of a more organic. It's about education. It's about putting your point of view across. I mean, I think if everyone at the Occupy, whether here or London or America or whatever, if instead of just sort of huddling together in a group, not really saying anything, went out as an individual, like I know, we have done individually, and just spoke to people, giving out flyers about what they think is there, without any name, without any group, that can be much more powerful. And I think if everyone just did that, if everyone, it's almost like this kind of protest movement can be a way of actually hiding and just forming another kind of group mentality, another kind of conditioning, and I think a lot of people within the protest movement are very scared of actually, there's a lot of self-censorship. They're very scared of saying anything which would alienate them from this new group. So they might actually relish being ostracized from society, but they're in fear of being ostracized from this new group that they feel comfortable with, where there are certain, certainly the green agenda, sort of, if I was to stand up in the middle of the Occupy general meeting and say I don't believe, because they were discussing what kind of power they would need on site, and someone said, well, I think we all agree that petrol generator is certainly a no-no because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I said, well, actually, petrol, is it any different from any, blah, 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 I don't believe in peak oil, blah, 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 show me the proof, I think that's just a scam, blah, blah, blah. It'd be like, what the hell, get out, it'd be like, you're just not allowed to say things. Yeah. I feel like there is that, I don't feel that there is an open platform. I think it's almost like another form of conditioning, a politically correct, and this is why they spend hours and hours debating, well, does that statement include disabled people with blonde hair and disabled people with red hair, and does that include people with big ears? I think that we need to make that in the point there, that we include people with big ears, and it's just this sort of this kind of insane sort of politically correct kind of wanting to include everyone, and actually therefore not saying anything and not being prepared to offend anyone.
Yeah.
But should we include the bankers in that?
Yeah. We don't want to offend the bankers. I mean, they're people as well. Yeah. Well, some of them, maybe. I don't know. See, are they? I don't know.
Okay, well, we're just going to take a short break. If anyone wants to call in, 347-205-9667 is the call number.
That's 9657.
Sorry, 9657 is the number to call in. And
also, you can Skype in on the show page.
And what you were just saying there, Jake, about debates just going round and round and round. This is quite an interesting song by Jeffrey Lewis.
That was a lovely tune.
That was a great tune. That's by Jeffrey Lewis.
It's a cover version of a Crass song.
Yeah.
Crass.
Yeah, he did an album called 12 Crass Songs where he actually made sense of their work.
A little more gentle than...
A lot more gentle, yes. And
he came to Brighton a couple of years ago, and we went to see him, and he's a great young artist. Well, I hope so.
Sort of, yeah. Did somebody, yeah, it was something like that, anyway. But it never came to anything, did it?
Is he a Canadian guy, Jeffrey Lewis?
He's New York.
Oh, he's from New York, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But he's a great young guy. He does the Freeman thing where he just goes. He does a tour, but he stays at people's houses when he's on tour. And
I think he might have moved on from that since, because he's done rather well for himself.
Has he?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Well, the last time he was coming round, he was staying at people's houses, and that was only a couple of years ago.
2 years ago, but 4 years ago, he was staying in people's houses, and people like Jarvis Cocker, who's big over here, sort of bumped him up, so he's done all right.
So he's staying in Jarvis.
He did what, Steve?
Say that again, sorry?
He did what, Steve?
He's done all right for himself.
Oh, okay.
Made some more money than...
Yeah, we have to have a Scottish translation.
I thought you said he'd bummed him up. That's what I wasn't quite sure.
Might be a Scottish phrase.
Yeah, probably.
That's bummed up.
Bummed up. Jarvis Cocker bummed him up, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Jarvis Cocker and people like that promoted him, so therefore he got the right kind of promotion and made some money.
It's who you know, isn't it?
I guess.
Yeah, completely.
I guess.
Mm.
Well, you'd be a multi-millionaire, wouldn't you, Jake?
Oh, yeah, I say, yeah. I just...
You only know
that's
right.
we did have...
If anyone out there wants to bum me up, then that's great.
If Jarvis, if you're listening, Hollow Moon.
I think the three of us would be quite rich if we knew what lots of influential people on this. Yeah.
Well, I knew someone, and it didn't I just pissed them off. Well, they couldn't understand me, that's probably what it was. If only I learned to speak English.
You were just too honest.
Well, anyway, yeah, come on, America, we need you to call in. Reset, you still there?
Caroline,
Yeah,
you're around?
just got back.
Okay.
God here.
And Jay.
Hey guys,
Hey,
guys. Freighter X here.
Yay! Nice.
Sorry, I missed the call a moment ago. I was on the line with somebody else. How's it going?
Yeah, very
Good.
well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to get ready for my own show this evening. Is this is this Type 1 Radio Lounge?
That's
Sounds
like
Type
live.
1.
I didn't think we were when I called in.
Yeah, we're all live. We're broadcasting to the world.
We are.
Okay, cool. I was wondering. Wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, you can listen to this fumbling again tomorrow on the podcast.
Freighter, if you want to promote your show, you go.
Yeah, you've got the floor, so. It better be as good as last week's show, actually, because that was the best one yet.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. Tonight I'm just going to go over a few things. It's basically going to be open lines again with just me. But next week I got Max Egan coming on.
Hey, wicked.
5 in the Matrix. Yeah, I'm really excited. He's going to talk about fracking, especially in America, which is a very underreported issue.
Well, stay tuned.
Well, funny you should say that, Freighter, because I've been looking into fracking just recently, and I've got a little bit to say about that a bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You know, and Max Egan is one of my personal heroes. I aspire to his method of dispensing, you know, the wisdom and the information that he has gathered, because to me, he's one of the top in this whole, movement of truth and patriot radio on the internet. I mean, it's like he's right up there. And his message of just plain and simple, you know, what are we doing here? We're strip mining the planet for what? To indulge and support a system that is completely unsustainable, that is completely, temporary. Everything breaks down. I mean, I don't know about you. The house I live in is filled with mold. The walls are coming down. Everything is like, decomposing all around me. It's like kibble from a Frank Herbert or Philip K. Dick novel. Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Everything's just breaking down, and we're all paying in. We're all at the wheel of the fear mongers who give us fear of scarcity of energy, fear of not being able to pay our telecommunication bills, fear of whatever it is that we're all caught up in. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ridiculous. For what? To strip mine the planet so we end up with a Mars-like landscape or a Luna surface here, all the resources completely, stripped away, and it's ridiculous. And so this is what this fracking issue, I mean, gosh, we're talking about the desalination of our water table. Everyone is involved. The desalination of our topsoil. So nothing can grow anymore. Yeah. I mean, anybody, we can all form intentional communities across the globe all we want.
But if you can't grow anything.
Yeah, if you can't grow anything or if you can't drink the water, what's that going to get you? You're going to end up...
Fracking point.
Yeah, what's the fracking point, right? You're going to end up...
Is that water from the toilet?
And you're going to have to drink recycled water and GMO food just like everybody else, because that'll be the only thing that grows in the underground Asimov-like, mold, whatever. Remember they were growing, some sort of protein, amino, it wasn't mold, it was, what were they growing in the Foundation Chronicles? Anybody read those books, the Foundation books by Asimov?
No, but I know they're making food from sewage nowadays.
Yeah, right.
Shit burgers.
Oh, that's from Fast Food Nation, right? They talked about that in that movie, Fast Food Nation. It's great.
Yeah.
But
if when you do speak to Max, if he wants to come on our show as well, he's more than welcome.
Yeah, he's really coming out now strong. He wants to spread the message of just like, let's stop this. This is ridiculous, non-compliance, and then we're going to talk about trust law and the sovereignty and all that. Yeah. That's huge. Everybody's into that right now.
Dean Clifford fan club.
Dean Clifford, yeah.
Yes,
big fan of Dean Clifford.
He also is a fan of Dean, and he refers to him with high esteem. And, the fact of the matter is that we just got to figure out a way
that this applies to each one of our nations where we're at. I mean, I want to talk about it from the perspective of America. How does this trust law
it sounds like it's all tied to the Catholic Church, Freya.
Yeah.
If you look at Santos, then actually what sort of thing, it's just all goes back to the Vatican, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mr. Astro-theology himself.
Yeah. Yes, when it moved from being emperor to pope, that was just smoke and mirrors, wasn't it?
Yeah. A big shell game, a big misdirection, the 3-card Monte game on the street. I remember when I was traveling America, these 3-card Monte guys used to come up to us when we'd be sitting on the Bank of America steps where we would be spanging, trying to hit people up for change back in the day. And these guys would come up and be like, hey, you want to make some money? They wanted us to take some of their money and stand in the crowd around their table and, make like we were winning. So that we could, get a mark. Like one guy in the crowd would have a pocket full of money, and this 3-card Monte guy would want to try to get him. I never did it, but other guys did, and I watched it, and I was like, wow. So what he's doing is he's got half the crowd in his pocket, and that's, I mean, look at our world. That's exactly what's going on here.
That's so true, because it doesn't have to be everybody that's involved. It just has to be a few key players that can make everyone believe that this is happening to everybody. I was talking today with Steve, and we were talking about Twitter, and there were some guys making these comments on Twitter, and this really thick footballer in England was making the sports guy making these comments on Twitter. And I was saying to Steve, well, geez, doesn't anyone? He was like kind of on his arse. He'd said some comments and was not really too well favoured, and then suddenly he started making favourable comments on Twitter. And I just thought, this guy has got publicity behind him because he's being made to look like this for some reason or another. And if you can't see where there are certain people being made to look a certain way, through the publicity, through the way entertainment works. There are some people within there, they're being made to look a certain way to give you this idea that this is how things are working and this is the way to be and this is the way to get ahead. And it's just not. That is not the reality of things. You're being sold a line.
Yeah, and it's like you said, to come back around to the point, it's like, not everybody is bad, but just enough to frack it up for the rest of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the George Carlin paraphrase, you know what I mean? He's saying it in reference to men. Not all men are bad, just enough to, frack it up for the rest of us.
Got some comments about fracking here.
Here's a lot of fracking on. Tell these lazy fracks how it's done. You're a fracking hero. Frack you guys. Get the frack out of here. You don't frack and do all, are you? Fracking great. I told you to stay the fuck away from me. Fracking with you. Frack off. Fracking. Frack up. Fracking. 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 Frack.
Well, that was from Battlestar Galactica, where they used the word frack as a swear word, I guess.
That was excellent. Yeah, well, that's where we actually employ that around the household.
We do too.
We have since the
It is.
Hey, just a little aside. Several years ago, I took my kids to the Comic-Con convention in Overland Park, Kansas, and I got to meet the original Richard Hatch, the original Captain Apollo, and like my kids and everything. I brought like a first edition, novel of Battlestar Galactica, the original series, and had them sign it. When I was a kid, I watched that show when I was a little kid, back in 1978, I guess it was. So that was a big dream come true. I know it's silly, but yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. I also got to meet the David Prowse, the Darth Vader, the guy who did all the first 3 movies, the guy who was in the suit, not the guy who did the talking, but the guy who was standing there in the suit was, yes, exactly. Yeah, Prowse, right?
David, he used to do like road safety films when we were kids over here.
Wow, after the in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he said he gave a little speech. He talked about how he got in the industry playing monsters. Like he was, he played like Frankenstein. He played because he was a big, bodybuilder. And it was actually a cool guy. I sat right next to him. I got pictures of me hanging there, put my arm on his shoulder and stuff. Publicity photos. Also met the original Lois Lane from the old American TV show, the one that had George Reeves, the one that was killed. Yeah. So that original, and I bought a photo of her from her, I guess it was probably one of the photos she had in her portfolio as an actress back in the day. Man, she looked just like the lady from Will and Grace. It was like a clone.
Oh, yeah.
She looks exactly like her. It's amazing. If you ever want to check that out, look at the original Lois Lane online and look how much she looks like, I can't remember that woman's name, but she's in that show, Will and Grace. And, Deborah Messing, yeah, that's her. Yeah, it's amazing, and I got it signed for Mater. Actually, she's got the picture in somewhere, I guess, filed away. Because I know it's not hanging up right now. But anyways, enough of that digression, guys. So tonight we have our just open lines on the radio show. Next week we have Max Egan. Then we had John Lash, but he canceled out this month because he's got some computer problems. Oh. So I got a joint email from me, for Vinny Eastwood, for a couple other radio guys that he said to all of us, sorry, I can't be on the radio this month because of my internet issues. So hopefully next month we'll be back on track with him. And like I said, Max Egan. And then next month I have Joseph Farrell, Dr. Joseph Farrell from he wrote Babylon's Banksters.
Yeah.
And the new book.
Nazi the Bell and all. Yeah, we've got them all.
Yeah, the Nazi Bell, the Nazi International.
As well in the Reich.
Yes, exactly. He's coming on this month, and I also have
Philosopher's Stone.
Yes, Philosopher's Stone, and we're going to talk. I tried to get him. To be honest with you, I tried to get John Lash and him on the same show. I wanted to go head to head with the goddess creation myth versus alien intervention.
Go, John. Go, John.
They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They both were like, nah. They didn't want to do it. And then I said, okay, well, how about if you come on, Joseph? How about we talk about the Nag Hammadi work, the Nag Hammadi library? I wanted to get his take on that stuff. And he was like, he stick material from his book. And I understand that, but I was hoping to explore some other, So nobody wants to talk about the Nag Hammadi.
No, well, you see we had the audio from the Sassafras when you were talking about was it Elaine Pigal's book you were talking about?
That I was talking about? Or
yeah, Green Freeman, yeah.
I think I mentioned Elaine Pagels, but it wasn't. It was Alice Bailey.
Alice Bailey, right.
Yeah, was the author, but I said Elaine Pagels. Yeah, I mean, I've done the real books that I would direct people to, though. If you want to really look at this work, I would direct people, right to the source of the Nag Hammadi libraries would be the John Robinson translation. It's from like the 80s or whatever. Right. And it's the one that you can find it on John Lash's site.
Yeah, Elaine Pagels is not very good because it doesn't mention the Archons at all.
Yeah, I don't know her.
Mostly the scripts are about the Archons, aren't they?
Yeah, she's mainstream. She interprets things different. Like, they're the kind of people that would interpret these things like they would say that the sons of God were great men. That's not really sons of God. Or, when they talk about Genesis chapter 6. You come on a break here?
No. We've got callers on the line. I think they're... we've got Pratt.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I wanted to say that if I was going to direct people at books that would be interesting, especially regarding the Dead Sea Scroll, there's a book by a guy named Professor Robert Eisenman, who was one of the original Dead Sea Scroll translators, along with John Allegro, who wrote the Sacred Mushroom book.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys, they have something to say. I mean, that Robert Eisenman, he wrote a book called James, the Brother of Jesus. It's like 1,000 pages. I have that book, and it is amazing. His interpretation of the Dead Sea Scroll material is second to none as far as my research goes.
I think that John Lash mentions that in the Not in His Image, doesn't he?
I think he does briefly mention him, but John Lash stands on his own, with his research.
At the back, John Lash gives you a whole list of books to sit in. I believe that one's in there, yeah.
Yeah, he also has, I think, the Dead Sea Scroll translated by Professor Robert Eisenman in there. Yes, but still, I would put the John Lash material, which he deals with that Nag Hammadi library from John Robertson, and then the Robert Eisenman material side by side. And then you have, the Nag Hammadi, which is a different that's a whole different community from the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh, sure.
You got the Nag Hammadi is Upper Egypt, and that's a couple of years before the Dead Sea Scroll, which is the Jordan Qumran monastery area. So there's a difference there. But inevitably, what you have is you have two approaches, because the Nag Hammadis, they're warning you against the interaction with the Archonics. They're saying, be careful. They give you the catechism. They give you a way to fight them to say, like, if they try to, basically it's a way to ward off abduction. In the non-commodity library, they have a thing called I think it's called the Catechism of James, and it's this little fragment that talks about if they'll come to you in threes, they'll try to take you, they'll try to tell you that they have dominion over you, but you just tell them, no, you do not. I am from the pre-existent one, and you have nothing over me. So just keep stepping, move away from me. I'm not going with you. And you stand your ground. And there's a whole little, catechism. Say, hey, get behind me. You know what I mean? It's not happening.
Yeah.
Keep on walking down the road there, buddy. So anyway. All right, I'm done. I don't want to take up all those.
All right, Brett, good to talk to you, man. Yes. Take care, yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in. Good to speak to you.
And I hope you'll all tune in later. And this is great, guys. You guys
many blessings to Mater X.
Yeah, to Mater X,
Yeah, she's probably online right now. So, you guys take it easy, and thanks again. Have a nice evening.
We'll see you on the podcast, yeah.
Yeah, you will. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Hey, Caroline.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, hi, Caroline.
Hey, I just put a thing on the page. I think a lot of people think it's starting at 5 Eastern, so I think a lot of people may be tuning in the next hour. I just put a thing up, and I think it says on Friend of Freeman, too. It's got the 5 p.m. Eastern time still listed.
Yeah, just gone back an hour as well, then, recently.
They have,
yeah. They have.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's why I had the wrong
Your
time.
clock has changed as well.
Yeah, you had the wrong blog talk number on there. You had 13 on the event site.
If you go to Blog Talk, it will take you to the actual current on air. But I think most people are still thinking it's not going to start for another, a couple minutes. But that's all right. You can always go the extra hour if people,
So 4 minutes.
You got 3 hours, right? So you could always go from 4
Yeah, but it's only one more hour of live radio, so they'll have to Skype in if they want to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or they can get it on the podcast.
Yeah.
We can catch it on a pod, yeah.
Well, maybe it's because we're all the time for everybody's now gone back. Like next week, everyone will be here for the whole 2 hours. So did your clock go back last week then? Caroline?
Yeah, I missed what you said about last week. I heard the tail part about
Did your clocks fall back last week?
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, we fell back and then we spring forward.
Yeah, it was Saturday, wasn't it?
The last week, yeah. That's why.
Okay. So what time is it there? It's still 9 p.m. there, your time, huh?
No, 10.
Coming up to 10 p.m. here.
See, normally
you started at 9, which used to be 4 o'clock Central Time, but now it's 3 o'clock Central Time because we fell back an hour. That's what that is. Well, see how clever this is, Hey, that's all right. It sounds lively, and everybody will catch it on the podcast, and everybody will know. We'll just tell them that we all
Caroline,
fall back. Yes, dear.
Caroline, shush.
We have a surprise for you.
Uh-oh. I love it.
That's your very.
I love that.
You can use that in the show.
Hey, I sing that song when I'm alone with my cats.
Oh. I knew that. See, I projected and viewed you, and I knew that right away.
I love it. You're going to have to post that on my page. I like that.
We're just going to bring Cracked in and say hi.
Cracked.
Michael.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Yeah, I just found out that not every country has daylight savings time.
Yeah, I just posted it.
Right,
I didn't realize that you guys didn't do that. I guess it is funny. Yeah.
We do have it.
Well, we have British Summertime and GMT. So, I think last week, or the week before, the clocks went back. And so last week was the first show to actually start at 9 o'clock over here, rather than, because we've gone back to GMT now. So, anyway, that's all the time zones.
Yeah. Does anybody think they do that just to mess with our minds?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do.
It's just me.
It said 11 time shift. That's what did it,
Yeah.
It's just I wonder if does Canada fall back, or is it just the United States? Does anybody else do it besides us?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. I think everybody does it.
Just different days.
Everybody else, aren't they? Yeah, they do it. I'm sure they do it in France as well, don't they? And
Yeah,
Yeah, they do, really, yeah.
European time and European standard time.
We just all do it at a different date, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
It's just like we still can't figure out how to use metric over here, you know.
Oh well, so the same.
It's just 100. It just means
Yeah. If you've got 10 fingers on your two hands, what was that?
It only makes sense, right?
Millimeter long.
Well, the Sumerians, they had 12 unit system, didn't they? I'm not sure where we get the 12 months of the year.
We just like to be different.
Yeah. You still have miles. So that's
yeah.
Right, we having a smoke break, I believe?
Yeah, because we're coming up on the hour.
Is that what all the whispering was?
We shouldn't have done it over the mic, should we? We should have moved away from the mic.
I think you actually got closer to the mic, didn't you? When you
Yeah.
Type1 Radio.
The BBC, Brighton Broadcasting chancels. Anyway, we're going to have a nice long smoke break, and we'll reconvene in a minute.
We hope you enjoy this one.
Sounds good.
This is Gil Scott Heron, the finest American ever.
What from you lot?
Well, the first thing I want to say is,
so we are back from the break, the smoke break. That was a lovely tune by Gil Scott Heron, a big movie. Everybody's back up. Heron, Crack, Jerry, Reset, we're all in the lounge, and I've just sent, because obviously I was a bit pained when I posted the link to the event page and put Jay's tomorrow night show up. So I've just sent a global message to all our brothers and sisters at the Friendship Agenda, giving them the correct link. But I think everybody thought, all the Americans thought that we were on starting now anyway, didn't we?
Hopefully, anyone who thought starting now, even though we've just been on an hour, they'll be with us now. Yeah. Well, things we've been talking about over the last hour we've been talking about Occupy, been talking a little bit about the Occupy Brighton that's been going on. We've had Frater come on, and quite synchronistically, Frater was talking about fracking and how he's got Max Egan coming on his show in a couple of weeks, talking about fracking. But this is actually something that is kind of in the news over here in Britain at the moment, because they're bringing it over here, and of course our country is a lot smaller than the States, and they've been doing fracking in an area of our country called Lancashire, which is kind of mid-north of Great Britain. And
Merseyside.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Gasland?
Do you know, I've just put a link up to that film on my Friends of Freeman thing. I've put a couple of, yeah.
Whoever's heavy breathing, mute your mic or get away from the microphone.
You know what that is? I think that's my cat. Is this what you're hearing?
No.
It sounds
It stopped now. It stops now.
Sounded really furry.
Get your pussy away from the mic, Caroline.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad the lady said that.
That may have been my cat, Elvira. She's the vampire. She's sitting there sucking on my neck. She's really crazy. She's a black cat. She's a little, you know, what can I say? She's not all there.
So anyway, back to the serious mood of fracking. in Lancashire, in Great Britain, yeah, we've had there were minor earthquakes happening there just recently, and the fracking company called what were they called? What was that drilling company called? It's called Drillco or something like that. I can't remember what it's called over here. But they basically admitted that it was the fracking that caused these earthquakes. And there was a program on a radio show here on Thursday. It was on a Radio 4 radio show, and they were talking about this subject of fracking, and they had these kind of scientific guys on. And essentially what they said was that, yeah, it can cause earthquakes, but, you know, minor earthquakes happen anyway, so it's not really any worse than just minor earthquakes happening anyway. But what they didn't mention was just the pollution of water. They very lightly skirted over the fact that it can completely destroy underground water aquifers. And I've been looking into it a little bit, this whole fracking thing that's been going on in America, because they were also saying that they incurred problems over here in the UK with the fracking that they'd never seen before. But what the hell? They just thought they'd just do it anyway, and no, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter. It's been going on in the US. This was their argument. They were saying, well, it's been going on in the US and it's okay, and so we'll just kind of get on with it over here. And when you look into what's been going on over in the US, you've had a hell of a lot of problems over there with it. And I mean, just think that I discovered that in 2004, a study by the EPA said that fracking posed no risk to drinking water, and so they exempted hydraulic fracking from the Safe Drinking Water Act. So that means now that when they try to investigate it, their research doesn't include research or water testing before they made it exempt from this 2005 Act. So it's very difficult to kind of do a proper study on it, because this study which exempts it from the Act makes it impossible, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry to ramble. But I believe that in Wyoming, the town of Pavilion there, which is quite a small population, only 160, and it's in the heart of the Wind River Indian Reservation, so obviously a really beautiful area full of natural beauty and, wildlife and everything. And this is quite a complex system of folds within the Earth's layers, and there are at least 30 underground water aquifers within this area. And so they've just gone in and started fracking the hell out of it. And of course, the fracking, the oil industry calls fracking a revolution of the energy industry, because gas burns cleaner than coal, and so they bring in this whole false environmental argument for it all. But it's as a result of drilling in the States, areas not typically known for oil and gas, like Michigan and New York and even Maryland, found themselves being drilled for gas and fracked for gas, and even in urban areas like Denver and Dallas and Pittsburgh. So now, before where it would have to be a whole area that would be kind of worked on. Now you can just get a fracking system going in quite a small area, but it will completely, and of course these companies come in and they offer landowners thousands of dollars to take over their land and do a fracking operation. And unless you have any kind of scruples about you, you're going to take that money, and so this is what's happening. People are selling out their land to the frack companies, and they're moving in, and then they're just completely destroying the area, destroying the natural aquifers in the area. So they're poisoning the water, and possibly creating earthquakes as well. But it's the water pollution that's just the worst thing of all, because this is something that you can't repair. When the toxins are going into the water, they don't care. They don't care that they fuck the water system up. They really don't care. And in this small town in Wyoming of Pavilion, where they were doing the fracking there. The officials were they found this really dangerous compound in the water supply there, and even though the EPA has been keen to distance itself from the controversy around fracking, they still found chemicals that were consistent with the fracking process, including a solvent called I don't know if I can say this, but it's called B-butoxyphenol, I think, otherwise known as B-2-BE. And they said they had not found nitrates or fertilizers that would have implied agricultural activities had caused poisoning of the waters. So they're finding these constituents known to be part of the fracking process. And what do the officials do at public meetings when they're there to kind of speak up and defend this process of polluting the water? They claim that this 2-BE can be found in common household cleaners, not just fracking fluids. So they never admit to anything. And even though they've actually been having to be compensating many residents and providing fresh drinking water for many of the residents of areas where the water supplies have been poisoned, they never actually acknowledge that they are in any way at fault in causing this pollution. So there's a very difficult process going on here whereby they're going to offer people plenty of money. They're going to come in, ruin the land, ruin the water supply, and then take absolutely no responsibility whatsoever. And if you go on to FiChick, my site on Friends of Freeman, you'll see I put a link up to the film that Dudeface was just talking about, and I think I put another link up there as well. Sorry, Reset, that you were talking about.
Gasland.
Gasland, yeah, which was where an oil company came to this guy's land and offered him thousands of dollars to do fracking exploration on his land. And so he thought he'd look into it a bit, and he made this whole movie about it, and it's a really interesting documentary film. And I put another one up about fracking in Australia and the problems that they're having there, which obviously is something that Max Egan will go into in much better detail than I have on Fraser's show. But it's a really serious problem, and over here, when they were talking about it, they were basically just making it out as if, you might get a few earth tremors, but they will happen anyway, and it's nothing to worry about. And there was little to no mention about how they completely pollute the water and the water supplies in the area. And
is that what you were saying just before about the Blackpool earthquake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my little talk about water, about the spring thing.
Well, wasn't it just that they found out that it was to do with them fracking?
Yeah, they've admitted that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It would have happened anyway. This just sped off the process.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the company over here that do it.
Yeah, it's Dudeface here.
Yeah, go on. Hey, Dudeface.
Yeah, they're probably a Canadian company, actually.
Encana. It's a Canadian company called Encana that are doing it in America. They're one of the, the Canadian companies.
Yeah, unfortunately, even though we've got just tons and tons of oil and gas up here, and probably coal and just about every other kind of mineral, they've started taking to that fracking up here all of a sudden now too. And it's just starting up, and there's actually a huge camp going up just up north of Calgary. I believe they're called Rocky Mountain House, and they're setting up like a town for thousands of workers, and they're going to start doing that. And the problem up here is that a lot of what they're doing it on is what they call crown land up here.
Yeah,
so
they
don't need anybody's permission.
Yeah.
They've already got the government's permission. So
belongs to the Queen.
So, and it's with all the stuff, they got the tar sands up here, and You know, they're still going on about how that was such a great thing, and we didn't do any damage, and yeah, that's all a lie.
And is this Crown land because they stole it from the natives?
Yeah, basically the way it works up here is everything that isn't already owned is Crown land. If it's not owned by a person, it's Crown land. There is no free land in our country anymore. It's all owned by the Crown. I think Freeman had mentioned a few times something about them. And again, you know, this is the thing, we don't know much about other countries' rules. I heard you guys talking about the daylight savings time and all that earlier. I wasn't aware that everybody didn't do daylight savings time. I thought the whole world did it. But anyways, up here, or down in the States, they tried to make the parks into national parks or something owned by the government, did they not?
Yeah.
And they were trying to fight that, I believe, at one point. I don't know if it ever went through or not, but up here, anything that's not already owned by a company or a family, it's Crown land. It's all Crown land.
Well, I remember watching a Winston Shrout seminar, and they had some elders from some of the indigenous tribes from I think it was British Columbia, and they were saying that Canada, the sort of entity of Canada, consisted of the waterways and the land adjacent to the waterways of, you know, that piece of land. So anything that was attached to a waterway in you know, that area of the world was constituted Canada, and they'd had treaties with the you know, native peoples of the land, and so they weren't actually Canadians as such. They, you know, were exempt from all your laws because Canada only consisted of the people that lived and were born in the Crown lands, and so yeah. Well, they still got treaties which with the Crown still have to oblige to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, there's all sorts of they're called reservations up here, just like they are in the States. I mean, you know, I realized at one time this was all Native American land, so none of it's ours, anyways. But yeah, I mean, even places, BC especially, you know, that whole Vancouver area used to be a rainforest at one time. It was Canada's only rainforest, and it's probably 70% gone, maybe 80% gone now from what it used to be. So, you know, they've just, all of Vancouver is built where a rainforest used to be.
Have you seen any of the work of Kevin Annett?
No, I don't think I'm familiar with the name.
Oh, that's tragic.
Okay. Yeah, Kevin Annett is an interesting guy to look into. He's very much involved in how the native people were exterminated from their own lands and the processes that the Canadian government and British government went through to actually, and the church collectively, the process that they went through to exterminate the native people from their own land and to essentially steal that land and give it to the logging companies and mineral companies, who then gave very large subsidies to the church to keep the church going and keep the church sweet, and it just became a symbiotic relationship whereby the logging companies were giving plenty of money to the church, and the church were getting rid of natives from the land. And someone like Kevin Annett, who was a reverend in a very deprived area of Canada and trying to bring his community together, trying to bring the native community and the white community together and resolve any problems that might have been there, he started treading on a few too many toes and was immediately ejected from the church. I mean, it's quite hilarious actually when you look into his story, because he likens it to Neo in the Matrix, whereby, you know, when that Matrix realized that this was something that just wasn't going to fit, it just flushes it out straight away. And that's exactly what the church did to him. It just went, no, get out. And he went through a sort of vague process within the church whereby they hold their own courts. And, of course, within that court, he wasn't allowed to give any evidence. Nobody that had any evidence to support him was allowed to give any evidence. It was just flush, get out, you don't work. So he's a really interesting guy to look into. He's presently involved in a process whereby they are looking at the old residential schools, some sites of old residential schools in Canada, where there are reports of mass graves of children that were at the schools, because essentially these, what they loosely term as schools, were actually internment centres for extermination, because you don't lose, or you don't find that over 50,000 children suddenly die in these schools. You know, that's not an accident or some kind of misguided education policy. That's a program of extermination, and that's what was going on with these children at these schools. And much of the evidence is buried in the backyards of these schools, and he is now going through a very difficult process at the behest of the native people who have asked him to be like a witness, a representative, to be there to witness what they are trying to do. He's not doing it himself. He's there as a facilitator for them to go through this process to show what happened in Canada and what happened to the native people there and how they were systematically exterminated. And he's trying to bring justice when I say justice, I mean that accountability, that's the word I'm looking for, because people are still alive and the organizations are still very much in process that cause these deaths, and so they need to be made accountable for what they've done. You can't just say, oh well, we're vaguely sorry, which is what the is it the Reconciliation Committee that's in Canada at the moment? They kind of say, oh well, something happened, and we're really sorry about that, but they make no attempt to offer any kind of admission of guilt within it, and no one is ever taken and prosecuted in any way for the deaths and the torture and the genocide which was perpetrated on the Canadian people. So really interesting man to look into his work is Kevin Annett. He's got an interesting film called Unrepentant, which was made by a young, experienced documentary filmmaker some years ago about about how he was, what he discovered within his community, what he discovered about the native Canadian people, and the process of him being thrown out of the church. It's a very interesting film. You might need a handkerchief though if you watch it. It's quite sad.
Yeah.
Some places.
Definitely check into that. Yeah, I know up here, most of the, Calgary used to be Fort Calgary. It used to be a fort here at one time. So it's right in the heart of the native territories, and they've all disappeared around here. Years ago, used to see them all over the city, everywhere. But in the last 20 years, man, their population has all but disappeared. They're all on the reservations, and now they can do nothing but open casinos to bring people to get money.
And many of the people who are now the in charge of the reservations, the so-called they're called they're the native people who are kind of in cahoots with the white folks.
Yeah.
What they did was in the residential schools was that they weren't allowed to speak their own languages, or there were many rules. They weren't allowed to do this, weren't allowed to do that, and any children and if you told, like say you reported on kids who, your fellow kids who were breaking the rules, you got a tiny bit of privilege. So they encouraged, kids who were reporting on other kids to kind of be their little snitches. And these kids who were getting the privileges through that, they were kind of nurtured and brought up to be the ones who are now the chiefs on these reservations. So, they're very much in the pockets of the white man, and they're very much the mouthpiece of the white man.
Yeah, and they need. I kind of follow. I don't know if you're familiar with Miriam Delicato.
Yeah.
Yeah, she started as an abductee story, and now she's working with the native populations of not just North America, but of the world.
Yeah, the Dogon.
The Dogon, and I hope I'm sure she's doing something with somebody up here, but because she's a Canadian, she's from Vancouver, so. That's just another example of, she starts as one story. I caught her story of her being abducted, followed by alien ships, and now she works with Native Indians. And
maybe we should get her on the show.
Yeah, maybe you should. You never know. I know she's really busy right now for sure. She's got her great gathering website getting all finished up and everything. So I follow her quite a bit over the last couple of years too, just mainly because of the native end of it more than anything else. Just because that really interests me quite a bit. So.
Oh, right. Actually, Kevin Annett has been down at the Occupy Vancouver. So if you're anywhere near Vancouver and you go down there.
Yeah, Calgary's mouth wasn't there.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, I don't really
too far.
know where you were. Anybody else?
Okay,
big
mountain.
Right, we're going to...
Yeah,
okay.
It's a very big mountain, isn't it?
We're going to go into another smoke break now, so we can all...
Well, this is the Smashing Pumpkins, and 1979.
Back in time.
Enjoy.
1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins. Very good, very good. So we're all back. And it's the last 20 minutes. If anyone's got anything to say it now.
Well, I was going to say.
Oh.
Just to tell everybody in Type1 land that the ET is on my side. After the White House poo-pooed the disclosure thing this week by coming out stating that they haven't got any evidence to suggest that anybody on the planet has made contact with the extraterrestrial life.
They haven't got any evidence for that.
No,
have they not gone on YouTube?
Have they not been on the friendship agenda?
But now on Above Top Secrets this week, the aliens are on our side. They have said that we need to become a Type 1 civilization, and they're on the case.
Did they say that?
Yeah. The aliens have said that.
Do they mean our Type 1 or Kathy's Type 1?
Yeah, that's the big question. Who's Type 1?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we're Type 1, take the piss, really, aren't we? Come on.
Yeah. We're hijacking the Type 1.
But they're Type 1, take yourself seriously.
No, but the aliens, they're on our side now. Yeah.
Okay, the take the piss aliens, I'm with you.
Jump down whenever you want.
Yeah.
Bring that free energy with you. That good weed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
weed every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what you're thinking, Darren?
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is there's a lot of lighter flicking going on during the show. I hear it all the time. I hear it in the background. Flick, flick.
No, that's just that's Sonic's brain.
Smoke breaks between the smoke breaks.
I'm going to smoke break right now.
Yeah, me too.
It sounds like Jay might be on also.
Actually, but before we go as well, in case we forget or we run out of time or something, we just want to do a little a recap on some of the other shows that are coming up on the Type 1 Radio through the week. And tomorrow night there's Jay's 3D meditation. Sorry, I do beg your pardon. I missed that 2Ds there. Jay's 5D meditation. And what time will that be going on? Jay, do you want to tell us about that?
Okay, it'll be going on 9 your time. I live out in Phoenix. It'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it'll be probably 4 o'clock in New York and 3 o'clock in Chicago. LA will be an hour after me. It'll be 1 o'clock.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay. And Carolyn, I believe you've got some shows coming up, not next week, but the week after. So let's just give a little plug for those as well.
Yeah, I'll be real quick on that. One, I want to tell everybody to go listen also. I'm not giving a plug for Alex, but there is an absolutely fabulous show on 11/11/11, Alex Jones with David Icke, and you guys were talking about Kevin Annett. They also talked about that and what was going on in England. And
cool.
It was on the Alex Jones show. I'll try to put it up on Friends of Freeman as I downloaded it as an MP4. I've got it being downloaded as an MP3 right now. But I've got it on my Facebook page. It was an incredible show with Alex Jones and David Icke, and they talked about Kevin Annett. And there's also another 2 or 3 hour show with Kevin himself, with Alex. I got those as photo albums on my Facebook account. I haven't been able to bring everything over to Friend of Freeman yet. I've been moving some things. I just haven't been moving that fast. And we need to talk to the web guy, because we know what we need to do is put a button on the Friend of Freeman page, that because I've got more people, Wolf Crane's asking, some people are asking how to get to the lounge still. We need to ask the web guy to put up a button so they can just push a button and go directly to the lounge. That'd be I can help him do that if he needs.
We're working on it,
I've mentioned that to Freeman because I haven't got. So this is a shout out to Freeman or Brandon. If my people will talk to your people.
Who is actually the web guy? I forget. There's so many names. Everybody's got avatars, you know? Huh?
Yeah.
Brandon?
Involved observer.
Yeah. And,
he's the lizard guy.
And Freeman as well. He's got administration rights as well.
Yeah, I've been talking to Brandon about stuff lately. He's actually kind of been looking for someone else who's willing to, someone who's really in. We were kind of thinking east about Sam, Frater X's guy, but it sounds like he kind of has a lot of other commitments. It would just be too much for him to take on a whole other big site. So
ask him to talk to me.
Yeah. Anyway, Caroline,
ask him to contact me.
Your show is coming up in 2 weeks, yeah.
If he can give me some clues, I used to be the artificial intelligence fellow for the astronautics division. I know a little bit about coding. Have him call me or get a hold of me one way or the other. And I do want to tell everybody a heads up that Thanksgiving week, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I can't give all the names out because we don't want to really put some people in jeopardy. But we're going to have we're going to have 3 days.
3 shows on, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to actually amaze some people because it's going to get some news out and relates to the... I'm going to go ahead and tell people now that it does involve the JFK murder, and it's actually people that were intimately involved, and it's taking some logistics. It's taken me an entire year to get this together. One of the people we have to be very careful of because the person's, literally risking their life coming out to say these things. So I've been very keeping things under wraps a little bit. Just because, literally when we're online, we get offline within, as soon as we're done, you have to shut down your computers both ways so that nobody can follow and try to find out where this person is. They're literally out of the country for safety. But there will be some incredible news and chance for people to ask questions, so start thinking about that. And there's some other people that we can bring up so if people want to start thinking about it because Michio Kaku said he would come on the show, but it probably won't be till after the first of the year. He's basically booked, though there might be a chance somebody, he might be able to do other. But and there's a couple other people, if people are interested in, we can bring them on. Just even, I don't know if you want to go into them. We know we're running out of time for the hours, and I think you want to bounce for some other people too. But and by the way, Gasland is an excellent show. And Check, you were amazing with Gasland. and the fracking stuff. And I suggest we replace the F-bomb with the word fracking. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
We got to stop fracking because it's just a conspiracy to just destroy the planet.
It's a last-ditch effort by the bastards to completely frack the earth up for everybody, isn't it? That's what it is. It's just they have no cards left, and so they're just throwing their hand in the air and saying,
I think they have cards left.
They want to ruin everything for everybody.
Vycek, I think it's not that they're running out of cards. I think it was part of the cards. I think it is part of the game. Because if everybody looks at that original movie with Charlie Sheen, Arrival, David Icke even brought it up on the 11th on Alex Jones's show. They've been using fracking and explosives and sonic weapons for a long time. What they're doing now is just expanding it. And that actually had something to do with the Gulf, too, so we can always bring that up, or if we want to go offline on the podcast and talk about it, because they're not only using fluids in fracking, they're using gas, they're using explosives. They're actually using depleted uranium, which a lot of people are unaware of, and it had a lot to do with why it ripped and fractured the Gulf, and that was actually by intention, because the Gulf was actually the largest carbon sink in the world and also the largest source of oxygen for our planet. And it is like it. They're back. It's basically almost like they're terraforming. Let's face it, they do want to kill 3/4 to more of the people on the planet.
Well, hey, if you know anything about reptiles, they like it warm, eh? So.
Yeah.
Well, look at what they're doing with the radiation. You've had 2 major radiation leaks in France.
Cooling.
Well, look at what they're doing. You've had 2 major emergencies in France. You've had major emergencies at nuclear reactors across the United States. Fukushima is literally back in fission, and it's just pouring out cesium and radiation both in the aquifers and into the salt water and into the atmosphere. You know, it is just if it's not a rival, it's something going on.
Yeah.
We had a friend with us I haven't seen in 15 years, and he's just come back from Japan, and he said it's just desolation over there. It's just, it really saddens his heart to live there for so long. It's gone basically. That's on the horse's mouth. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's a crime against humanity. But the Gulf is still. I mean, the Gulf is still pouring heavy oil.
The rat was swimming in there the other day there. I'm joking, Caroline.
I know. I'm just listening. I just had as you said that, I had another cat leap on me. The cats like the lounge. They keep coming around me when I'm on the phone with you guys. But yeah, it's been crazy because they're still pouring Corexic in there, and there's still methane coming out. And it's just. It really is as if, you can't make this stuff up. And just even like what you were talking about, Kevin and Annette, people don't realize these kids have been missing from those reservations. It's in our lifetime. We're not talking 100 years ago. The last time the damn Queen went over there, she went home with 20 kids and half of them supposedly died. I mean, give me a break. I mean, I think these people they really are eating these. What are these, like little organic children? They went to big... they're drinking blood and eating organs. It's like, what did they go over there to get some little organic kids and add it to their menu or something? It's actually a little. These people are getting frightening.
Last year, when Kevin was over in Europe, the last living survivor of with evidence of that trip that the Queen of England made to Canada when those children went missing, he died mysteriously in hospital all of a sudden.
It's systematic. My mom was one of the kids that were taken. This has been going. That's one of the things that caused me the problems in St. Louis. When I was looking into the pedophile thing, I was so foolish. I didn't realize just exactly the kind of people I was dealing with. Because it's not just a bunch of.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not just a couple.
They have been fracked from an early age, so they are completely toxic people. They don't work on an organic level at all. I'm afraid.
Well, you think about it, they're inbred into almost being imbeciles, and I don't know if there's really reptilian blood or draconian blood or who the hell's genetics are in there, but they're certainly bred to have no empathy for other humans and to be sociopaths.
I don't think you even have to be of that bloodline. I think that even as a human being, your brain can be messed with sufficiently that you just become soulless at some point, and then
you just become numb.
Yeah, you become, you disassociate, don't you? That's what they do.
That's what,
you disassociate from yourself.
Jay was saying on Freeman's show last week, where Jay Parker, he was brought up with this Illuminati family. His mum and dad were like just in there, and there was he was saying that they used to drug them, the kids, to partition, compartmentalize the altars. That's what they call it, isn't it? Yeah. So
the personas.
Yeah. So they
frack the brain. Exactly. That's what they do.
That's a good point. We're gonna that word fracking comes in handy more often than you think.
Yeah.
Well, Battlestar Galactica was telling us something when they were using the word fracking.
That's right. Yeah. How odd they should use it in that series, though, isn't it?
I think that show was very prophetic, because if you notice, they even had terrorism and what they called them, remember, homicide bombers, suicide bombers, and it was basically a lot of mind control.
Yeah,
it really was,
Yeah. It's interesting that. Sorry, Jay, go on.
Maybe we can stop them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jay's got an amazing thing going on tomorrow.
We're going to make a group just called Entity to protect people from aggression, and hopefully, if we can make it strong enough and collect it into the and connect it into the collective, it'll be able to even stop wars.
Hey, I'll be happy if you can help protect me in St. Louis. We can get the sanctuary up in the mid-Missouri, and everybody will have a sanctuary to go to. Because trust me, it'll be open to everybody, and that's the way I want it to be. So if you can get the protection up around here, help this get going as fast as we can. Because I think we need to get that going. Because seriously, I'll put everybody's name on it. I don't care. I'm not looking to get rich.
Just before, like 7 minutes before the end of the live show, apologies to our American listeners for the time differential. We have the Type1 Radio has turned into a network. I have suddenly become the boss of the network, as we have like five or six different shows, or even like 7 or 8 different shows that are going to start to. We have the ones that are on at the moment. We've got Herb Guys, the Intentional Community on Friday. We've obviously got the Type1 Radio Lounge on the Saturday. We've got Jay and Swami, a combination of them doing the show, wanted to do the show on the Sunday. And then we've got Retta, big shout out to Retta.
Yay, Retta.
From the Friendship Agenda.
Hey, Retta.
He would do an Ask a Toddler type show. I was speaking to her the other day, and what an amazing person you are, Retta. Absolutely amazing. We have Brett wanting to do a really, really, really empowering show about mental health and how he wants to bring out the positive nature of mental health, which you don't really get.
Gets a bad press.
We were talking about this briefly when we had a bit of a Skype conference, and we were talking about how depression can actually be something of a spiritual tool, in that you can go very deep inside yourself, and this is often looked at as quite a negative thing, but it can actually be quite a positive thing to look quite deeply in yourself. So that looks like it could be quite an interesting show.
And then we've got our resident comedian Lobo. He wants to do a completely different type of show, which will be, I won't say anything about that, but I'll let him.
Is it a porn show?
Smoke weed every day.
Nice.
He's not here to defend himself.
Yeah. But we need to tell you that next Thursday there's a special show coming up.
Yeah.
And it's the return of a Type 1 intellectual.
A Type 1 goddess. we have Judy Wood returning this Thursday. We were all so excited when she came on the show that we were just sitting here just talking to her, and we completely forgot about everyone on the chat lines, and I'm really sorry about that. And so what we're doing next coming Thursday is Judy's coming back, and there's going to be a Skype conference show where everyone can come in, and we're just going to shut up and
open mic.
You can ask your questions, chat with Judy. If you don't want to phone in, but you want to offer a question, you can send questions to me, Fi Chick, or Psonik.
The chat also ought to be monitored by that point, I think, though, in a more regular way.
I know.
Okay, I'm our man in Minnesota.
I'm the new Caroline.
Yeah.
Good man. Good.
So,
hey, we've got a caller on quickly.
Who's this?
God, somebody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Retta. I just wanted to say you guys.
Hey, Retta.
Hey, I heard my name, so I just wanted to say you guys are doing a fabulous job. Fabulous.
Well, why don't you promote your show real quick, Retta?
Give us a little bit more info on your show.
Yes, it's kind of somewhat like Jay, but Jay does a conscious meditation into 5D, whereas mine is more of a astral projection through sleep. And I want to try to help people be able to do it. It's not hard. We all have it within ourselves to go into 4, 5, or 6D and to experience what that has to give. You learn a lot about yourself, about others. You become more psychic, as Jay can even tell you. And I'm just trying to help people sort that through as best as I can.
Excellent.
Excellent, Retta.
Thank you so much, Retta, and thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for kind of offering to bring shows in, because it just makes the whole Friends of Freeman thing just, it's really great to hear everyone contributing.
This was my vision.
No, it wasn't. Your vision was no experts, and now we've got everything experts. That was Loma's. We've got Free Energy Jay, who's just about an expert on everything.
My vision was to just get us from being listeners and observers to becoming participants, and that's what it's become. Which I'm just thank you everybody for stepping up to the mark and being this wonderful community that we have.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one.
Yeah. Can I just say as well that I just really enjoy speaking with all of you over in America and Canada, but I'd like to send a call out to more people in the UK, because I know there are plenty of Friends of Freeman in the UK and up in good old Bonnie, Scotland. And it'd be really great if you could phone in as well and, have a chat. And also any European friends who'd like to call in. And it would just be really lovely to hear you and to have you as part of the show and everything. So, yeah. We don't have long on the show now, so I think we're going to round things up. We're going to play out with another one of our great tunes.
Hello,
Caroline.
Hello, I'm here. I didn't know if you guys were going to still keep going or not.
Well, we might as well for a bit.
That's fine. We got an hour. We can make it for the podcast for all the Americans, huh? Yeah, you do have some New Zealanders, too. You got some new people joining up, too, because I was trying to show more people how to get to Friend of Freeman's. Because I've got some cool people on Facebook, and then some other people on Facebook that want to be friends, and there's no room, the damn limit over there. So, and they're good people, too. A lot of them are into permaculture, and, they want to do a Type 1 type situation, and they're good people. They're all awake and aware, no sheeples. I mean, I've got some sheeple in my 5,000 because you don't want to just preach to the choir, but there's some really good people, really.
I know what you mean by you preach to the choir thing.
Yeah, because, that's why, I do have some crazy people on my Facebook page because, I do still have the ones who still think, I still every once in a while have to educate them, but there's still people that think 9/11 was, what the government said. They still want to believe in the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, whole charade.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I go through that, and but it's you need to do that because somebody's got to take the time to wake up one sheeple at a time because some people it's not their fault.
Slow.
Well, and it's not everybody's fault. It's like, you think, especially, I'm sure it's the same there. It's, people here, a lot of people just work 12, 18-hour days, or they got a kid, or they got parents to take care of, or, it's what you learn in school, that's what they see on TV. And until somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, it'd be great if everybody woke up on their own, because that's the first thing when I started listening to Alex Jones and God, then I discovered David Icke, and then I heard Freeman. I was like going, son of a bitch, there's somebody else that thinks like me. I thought I was nuts, Because, I'd always thought about, some of these things and noticed things. And, you mentioned it to a lot of people, and they want to, they think, well, it's time for you to get some meds, But when you start finding out that other people are awake, too, and I tell you, if it wasn't for things like Friend of Freeman or Facebook, or the internet, there's an awful lot of people out there sitting on their little oasis of, of awareness going, where the hell are the rest of the people that are off the pills,
Yeah.
Either red pill versus blue pill, That's why, boy, I really want everybody to go listen to that 1111 show. Alex and David Icke, that was absolutely the best. I've heard those two. And Icke was just ripping away, and I just wish I could have gone to Cleveland and seen the show.
Yeah, you mentioned it to me when we were kind of chatting as well, and I'm sorry I couldn't really speak to you too well then because I had Skype phones and telephones and things going.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I got to figure out. Yeah, I wish I had a speakerphone here. I'm with the corded hotel phone, so it's like every once in a while I forget and I walk away and I might drop the phone and it's dragging on the floor and. That's why it was funny when we were first talking. The cat leaped up and was sucking on my neck, and I was thinking, I hope they don't hear this purring. Okay. Rambling.
Take a breath, Caroline.
All right. I'm rambling away.
I watched that show
that Caroline, you need to get Skype, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working on it.
No, I'll send you the link to Skype. It's really
Oh,
easy.
that'd be great, babe. That'd be great, hon. Really.
I'll ring you and I'll talk you through how to use it because for your shows you need to be hosting that.
Yeah, you need to host them, Caroline. So you need to be on Skype.
Because we might be available for some of it, but we might not be available for all of it. So
that's cool.
And because it's Skype, it's free, okay? So you're not going to be spending any money, and it's just straight there, okay?
Having it straight in.
Now, can the people, like the guests, can they still call in through the number on Blog Talk? Or they don't have to use Skype, do they?
You host the show through Skype, okay? So I'll pledge.
Yeah, when they call, it goes. The number is to your Skype, and then you'll answer it on your Skype. So everything you're doing, Carolyn, will be right on one little square box on your computer, and you can just click in. There's that person, and there's that person, and it's not that complicated.
And also, it'd be, because of the nature of your show, it'd be good to have those people Skyped into your conference with Blog Talk because.
Well, I know at least the one person in Europe doesn't want to do Skype. That person is nervous about Skype, but I mean they could still use the regular number, right?
Yeah. Well, they're going to be the number's going to be recorded by either Skype or Blog Talk. So I mean, yeah, but we'll discuss that off air. Okay. I'll speak to you about that later.
That's cool.
You're here. Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
You guys know I'm just starting with this new technology stuff.
So are we, darling. So are we. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
I don't know shit about this technology. Honestly, it's just a good job I got some boys around me.
It was so
but here
bad.
We all are.
My son's like, Ma, you know how to Skype? I'm like, I just learned it yesterday.
I know how to grow vegetables and stuff like that, but...
No, I'll kill the vegetables. I can't. I have a bad thumb.
No, we're only like still. This is Type 1 Radio and its infancy. We've still only done this for 2 months, so we're as clueless as the next person. So yeah, we just muddle through the best we can, and we'll help you achieve your dream of the show. Okay?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want you guys to chime in too, and I'll tell you more who the guests are, but not right now, not on this yet. I'll go ahead and figure out a way to send it to you because the person is really concerned. The one person is. The other people are actually just other people that know some things, and there's a chance that maybe Jim Mars might call in for a while. And Jim Mars might. It just depends because it's Thanksgiving weekend. That's the only thing that's screwing him up. Not weekend, but that's a big deal here. Do you guys even do for Thanksgiving?
No. Why would we do Thanksgiving?
Well, I don't know. I figure everybody kind of grabs on the holidays, any excuse to party. I mean, I know, non-Christians that celebrate Christmas. What the hell,
I mean, we're being Americanized. It won't be long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know a lot of non-Christians that celebrate Christmas, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean anything. And it's like Thanksgiving itself, if you celebrate what it really means, it sucks. I mean, the Pilgrims really were some really horsey-ass people. But the holiday itself is nice to get everybody together and pig out. That's kind of cool.
Christmas is just bad, but we all celebrate that.
They had Christmas things in the shops at the start of September over here.
Oh, they had it since August. There's been Christmas things in Home Depot since August.
No way.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, there's trees everywhere.
Yes, it has.
Do you know there's a big store in Great Britain called Harrods, and they have a Christmas department that is open all year round. Because tourists that come over, obviously, they're not just going to come at Christmas, and so they want to sell their chintzy little Christmas shit all year round.
So they can lose their credit early in the year, huh?
Very big price. They're made of real gold in that shop, Yeah.
Well, to me, Christmas and Halloween have nothing to do with whatever their original religions have. Because Christmas to me is just a time when people ought to get together because it's got nothing to do with religion. And Halloween's the same way. It's like I know it's still Samhain, but it's like Halloween is just fun. I love it. Everybody can get dressed up and play dress up and have fun and just go out and eat like a fool and have a good time. You got to do that occasionally.
Yeah. Well, Christmas is like put the lights on, eat, and stay indoors. That's Christmas, isn't it?
I usually
in
work
America, in this part of the world, anyway. Maybe not in Australia.
Really?
What was that, Rita? You usually work?
Oh, I used to. Well, when I was working, but I used to work Christmas. Thanksgiving was more of my holiday, but Christmas just came and went. I think it's because of all the money. I don't want to think of Christmas. Just let it pass.
Yeah.
Well, see, I only see Christmas as sometime a chance to get together with people. Just like to me, I figure Christmas should go all the way like it does to New Year's Eve, so that you can just party the whole frickin' week with everybody, and everybody get together. Have some fireworks on New Year's Eve and have a good time. Everybody get dressed up on their sexy stuff on New Year's Eve and go hot and go nuts and And Halloween around here, everybody's got lights up on Halloween now, so everybody's going a little crazy. Everybody wants an excuse
Carolyn,
to party.
I have to go hang out with you for a little while.
You got it. Hey, I get that sanctuary. You ought to come down and move down there, man. I need all the people. Hey, we'll take over the whole little town of Blackwater. What the hell?
Jay said he felt me coming down to Missouri. I'm like, Jay, are you sure Missouri? Me? I don't think so.
Well, hey, there's some crazy people. There's parts of Missouri that are like Deliverance, You got to watch out for parts of Missouri. There's parts of there that are like Deliverance, and St. Louis is kind of like a Nazi stronghold. That's why I got to get my ass out of there. But there's other good parts, and it's right smack in the middle. And as long as you're off to the west side, you don't have to worry about the New Madrid Fault. And
I know I'm light. You say Nazis. I'm very light-skinned, but I'm not that light that I can get past the Nazis now.
Hey, the Nazis go after everybody. They don't care what your skull. Unless you're a blonde Aryan, they don't like anybody.
Okay, let's get away from the Nazis here. But just say that if you want to party over the festive season, you need to go to Scotland. They do it big time there for New Year.
They know how to do it up there for sure.
Yeah.
As long as they can give me a bottle of Drambuie, I'll be happy.
Oh, they give you a bottle of anything.
That's for breakfast, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Till the next morning.
Put that and some Irish whiskey on my Christmas list, will you?
Irish? No, I love Irish whiskey actually. Jameson's and
yeah,
no
Jameson's. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Jameson ginger wine is my drink. So,
yeah, definitely. Now, why is it that all the best whiskeys and like Drambuie and all that come from the islands? I mean, geez, we got all this land here. We got this horrible stuff called bourbon.
It's because of the peat. It's because of the peat in the water comes off the springs.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Oh, maybe I should move to England.
Carolyn, you've got to come over here and do a tour in Scotland because you can go around the breweries and
distilleries.
Distilleries.
I may never leave the pubs.
Yeah, you get samples, everything, and
can I'll have to bring my cats, but I'll probably stay.
Hot firewater for you to try.
What? Can I come with my cats? Because I'll probably not leave. You know, I can't leave the cats behind.
Yeah, I got my alchemical still. I can make alcohol.
Oh, as long as we can make, we have to get some peat down and do something with the water.
I can make it. I make it 200 proof.
What? Well, if you're gonna do that, you might as well make vodka. We'll just get some potatoes.
well, actually, barley and corn's fine. Or if you get sugar cane, we can make some rum.
Yeah, no, we got to work on just like shipping over lots and lots of bottles of Drambuie.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I used to play foosball, and the winners got to get a shot or whatever, and they used to bring me a water glass of Drambuie. I played better as the evening went on.
Drambuie, is that the one that tastes like licorice?
I don't know. I always lick my lips. I can tell you that. That's good. I was really happy by the end of the, we would play till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't remember making all the shots, but I got better. I tell you. I didn't talk much. I just kept grinning. Hey, you guys play foosball?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
You guys play foosball?
I used to play foosball.
Oh, I love it.
We call it something different here. What do we call it?
Foosball.
It's, table soccer.
Table with a bunch of men.
Table soccer, basically.
Table football, we call that.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You call it football even when it's on a table, huh?
Yeah.
Foosball.
Yeah.
Well, the sanctuary is going to have pool tables. The sanctuary is going to have pool tables, and it's going to have lots of foosball tables. I got 2 foosball tables at my house. I got to get there, and we're going to have ping pong. We're going to have badminton. We're going to have everything. We're going to have volleyball. Going to get that natural ground pool. We're all going to be in great shape while we eat well and party.
We've got cricket and badminton here.
Let's go.
So we have an Olympics.
Yeah. I've never played cricket.
I've won Olympics.
All right. Hey, we got to get that one with the rocks from Canada. What's that one with the rocks from Canada? Where you shove the stone.
Curling.
Oh, yeah, we got to have curling. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. What kind of sport is so great? You use rocks and brooms and stuff. I thought, I love it.
And brushes.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's cold up here.
I think it's genius, Anybody the drunker you get, the better you got to get at that, too. Oh, great. You don't have to stay
there, I'm there.
You got it. And everybody's got to like pets, though, because, so far at the sanctuary, I got free goats coming, free chickens, free horses, free donkey. May have some llamas, may have alpaca, some pigeons, too, but I want to have some. I don't know. I hate to eat pigeons. It's just, this doesn't seem right. My aunt used to do that, but I'd rather have them for, like, messaging pigeons or something, where you can just...
I'm a New York girl. We don't eat pigeons.
Wait, they're called squab. That's actually a delicacy,
In New York, they're like rats.
Hey, don't laugh. In St. Louis...
Is that like shitburgers are a delicacy?
Hey, don't laugh about rats. In St. Louis, the guy who had the best chicken wing place was this black guy that used to sell to all these white bankers and assholes downtown, and it turned out it was rat legs. It wasn't chicken, it was rat legs. It was great. The guy was making a mint off these. All these rich guys coming in their suits to this guy. He had one of those, like, push carts, that he'd show up with his little chicken legs, and they were rat legs. It was great.
Wow.
It was like a fight club.
I think it was appropriate, We'll have stuff for vegetarians though too. You know, we don't want to run everybody out. But we got the fish too. We get the aquaponics. We got the tilapia and bass, and somebody said there's some edible goldfish. A friend of mine in Japan said he's gonna somehow get me some edible goldfish. Though I don't know.
If you eat them over here, they're worth $500,000. No. Is that koi carp?
Koi carp.
What's that?
Somewhere that tilapia wasn't really it was genetically altered fish. Is that true?
Well, you got to watch all that stuff. You got to get natural ones. You got to
it was never a natural fish.
There was a real tilapia. It just you got to watch. Yeah, but there's genetic salmon too, so you got to watch out because they're trying to GMO everything. You know, I mean they got beagles that glow in the dark for Christ's sake, so you got to be careful of everything. You know, little mice that got ears growing on the back of them and stuff like that. And pigs with human DNA. Huh?
Is that because they're using, what are they using to make them glow in the dark? Because I know they were using some kind of things from shellfish or some kind of, phosphorus from fish to put in things to make them glow.
Are you guys really serious? I've never
Yeah, go on my Rita. Go on my Facebook page. There's a photo album of them because there's glow in the dark. The Koreans love that crap. They must have like about 50 different animals that they got glowing in the dark now. Kawan is a friend of mine. He's like Kawan's a friend of mine. He's like the Walter Cronkite of Korea. And he says it's a big deal over there that people want them. That they actually are trying to develop them so people can buy them. But who the hell wants a dog that glows in the dark? I guess when you walk them, I don't know. They're probably crap gold. I don't know. Wait, maybe you can find their. Huh? What?
That's it. Instead of turning the light on, you can just get your dog over your book.
And that'd be kind of kinky if you did this right, you know. But at least you could find if you have to clean. Hey, well, you never know what's going on, you know. But you know, it might help if when you got to clean up in the yard. If the stuff glows, you can find it easier.
Yeah.
Well, if you walk your dog, you can see where you're going too.
Yeah, you can
come
in.
To get home.
Yeah, my cats are giving me a dirty look. They said they better not touch them. They said don't glow us at all. They like being obscure. In honor of you guys, I actually reached over and I found the last thing I have here is Evan Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Ooh. I can tell you, it says age 7 years, but I think Evans needed to take more time. It's definitely not Irish whiskey or Drambuie. Somebody actually gave me this. Somebody gave me this. And it's like
pedophile.
Somebody's a pedophile. What?
Make the booze the pedophile. It's only 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
You gotta wait 20 years. You gotta wait 20 years.
This comes from Kentucky, and I tell you, Kentucky's crazy anyway, though, because I've been to Kentucky. Yeah. I took a friend down there, and it's like, it's the craziest state. It's like they make whiskey all over the place, but most of the state's a dry state you can't drink in.
Yeah, people don't.
Well, that's crazy. I lived outside of Boxborough, Massachusetts for a while when I was doing this AI thing at MIT, which was really a trip with a bunch of crazy people. I can't believe I was living in a county that was a dry county. You couldn't buy or drink liquor in the county. I'm like, I gotta move.
Definitely.
I'm like, who the hell? I thought, no wonder everybody intelligent got in wagons and headed west. The hell with this.
Sure, I have a T-shirt that says "Rehab." Mama didn't raise no quitter.
I like that. Do a little tap dance at the tap. Huh? Here we go.
Bizarre that it's a dry county, so.
Yeah, that sounds like to me. I'm sorry, I have to change religions in that case. I've got a friend who's she's real excited. She's real happy. She thinks the rapture's coming. She's the only person I know happy over Fukushima. She thinks the rapture's coming, and first of all, I already told her I'm not going if they come and knock on the door. I don't want to be raptured. I'm going to stay here drinking, playing loud music, and throwing life preservers to people. And she doesn't drink at all. And I told her, I said, no, wait a minute. Didn't Jesus turn water into wine? It wasn't the other way around. There's some logic to what I do, you know. I take my drinking religiously, you know.
Amen.
There you go. I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that, yeah. Maybe that is appropriate then that I'm moving to Blackwater. 3 Dog Night? I don't know, there's a link there. See all this synchronicity going on? The world has gone crazy, I can tell you that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you know what, Caroline,
yes.
that I went in search of the natural spring water?
Oh, I want you to help me do that here. You got to come here and help with that.
Oh, well, I'd love to. You've got to
Unless
come
I
here
move to
because
England.
I've got a really special place that I could take you to. And, yeah, you drink the spring water and it does have like a kind of, I don't know how to describe it really. It's like a slightly mind-altering effect, but not in a drug mind-altering way. It's more in a kind of perceptive way, and it's very subtle. So it's not like a drug in any way. It's not like drinking a glass of wine or anything, but it's just really soft and beautiful. And me and Steve, we've as well as drinking the spring water and kind of getting this kind of strange effect as well, we've really noticed that just by placing your attention in a different way and opening your mind not in a different way, but just opening your mind generally, just you can get such amazing, what's the word? I don't know, just like such an energy is coming in at the moment. Has anybody else been really
I think you're right. Well, when I was a kid, that's what we drank. My aunt's farm, there was everything.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we drank well water, and it was mineral water. And, I think it's the mineral in it, and there is salts, but it's a different kind of salt. But have you I don't know, have you been to the States? Because when you come over here, we get to Sanctuary, Missouri, we've got to go down to Arkansas where they have the hot springs. Because there's still volcanic activity underneath. And, there's an ancient culture that was there that people don't even know about. Because you never hear about Arkansas except for Clinton. There's a lot of weird stuff that went on in Arkansas. But there's petroglyphs along the mountain ranges there, and there was an ancient culture. I think it basically got wiped out by all the mumps and measles that Cortez and all those guys brought here on purpose. But it's like, if you go into, you go off, there's crystals all over the place in the ground, and there's there's mineral springs popping up everywhere, and then there's warm springs, and I mean, spontaneously, all of a sudden you just find them as you're walking along. And when you come over, we got to spend a couple of weeks down in Arkansas. We got to spend a whole month down in Arkansas.
Sophia is coming out. Sophia is defiant.
Yeah, I think that she is most definitely angry, and I think that her anger is different than our anger though, because her anger is power. It's a powerful force. That we I don't think it's anger in a vicious force.
Who's angry? Did I miss something? Who's angry?
People don't realise that we are Sophia. We are Sophia. The whole planet is Sophia. Yeah.
It's all about Mother Earth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You mean Gaia? You think Gaia is angry?
Gaia Sophia. Yeah.
I don't know if she's angry. I think that she's fighting for her life.
Yeah, but we are her. We are her life. We are her.
But I mean that. I mean, I think she is fighting for her life, because I really do think that what's going on with the fracking.
She's still there.
Yeah. But I
think she is under assault with the fracking and what they're doing, and I really do think these elite, whether they've got reptilian in them or what, but I really think they're trying to modify the entire planet, and I think Gaia is fighting for her life. I don't think she's...
They're trying to make it for when they come, when we're in 4D, when these other terrestrials come on the same plane as us, that they can survive. They are trying to change.
I think that the water is so
the air and everything.
Yeah.
That they're trying to destroy the most important element that we can get hold of, the most simple element that we can get hold of. Because the
once they poison the water, we're done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If we can find the natural springs where we can just drink the water, these waters have such powers in them because of, like we were saying, the minerals and the elements that are in them, and these are connecting within our bodies. And these elements are lifting us, literally. And I think they know this, and that's why this fracking
that's why at the bottom of the earth
going on.
They're trying to crack the human genome as well.
Yeah. Well, where they're mixing us up like, you know, the Dr. Moreau, they're mixing us with every other critter. But, you know, that's why at the bottom of the ocean you have these sulfur vents, because the minerals are being pumped back in. The deep oceans still have some health in them. But look what they're doing. I mean, the baby dolphins are dying in the Gulf, and, you know, they're genetically modifying the salmon. And then besides the oil they're dumping,
their damnedest to fuck it up, aren't they?
Right. They're dumping the methane in the Gulf, and there's methane leaks all over the China Sea and off of Australia and off of New Zealand. They're killing the sea life, and look at all this being irradiated off of Japan, and they're dumping. There's those huge islands of petrochemical plastic waste. There's an Atlantic island, but the huge one in the Pacific that's bigger than the state of Delaware. That's just nothing but plastic garbage. You know, and you know, you really sit there and you think these people, they're not. I don't think you're right. They're not totally people. They're not Terran. They're not. I don't think they are inherent to this earth. You know, I really don't.
Yeah.
Taking back to John Lash's point, maybe because Gaia is organic, yeah. Maybe the Archons who are inorganic want to come back, yeah, and they have to make the planet inorganic. To come back here.
Habitat, yeah.
Well, they're making us inorganic in the whole what's the robotic agenda? The transhumanist agenda. They're trying to just lead us away from our natural form by, you know, thinking that we can become better by becoming robotic in some way, taking the chip. The technological transformation of ourselves, and
it's like 1984.
Yeah.
Well, it goes past 1984. Yeah. It goes way past 1984.
It does, yeah.
The
1985.
Well, you know, I mean, there's no feeling. It's like the Orwellian thing that you're taking out love, and you know, in 1984, Winston, you know, the relationships. There's no love anymore. There's no beauty. Everything is a replica. You know, and it's like, you know, if you look between the Prozac everybody's taking and the fluoride in the water, you know, and the indoctrination, the subliminal messages, everybody's just become a little robotitons, you know, and it's like you go to work, you come home, you go to work, you come home, you're a slave. You know, it's just like David Icke says.
That's what was talking about today.
Yeah.
It's just go to work, come home. You're programmed. That's all you do.
Yeah.
Right. It's like David Icke says, you're prisoners without walls. That's what's happening, and people won't wake up and see what's going on around them. Yeah. And you know what? If you do wake up, then that's when they come after you.
But you know what? Even though it was a very desperate situation, but even though he was a prisoner, he still knew and he still understood what freedom was. And it wasn't until that point when they broke his mind that he didn't, that he, in 1984, that he succumbed to Big Brother, because that they had won. And so even though he was still kind of within the Big Brother system, because he still understood love and something beyond what was there, he hadn't succumbed to it. It still lived. The freedom still lived. But then it was the moment that he submitted to them that they had won him over, that they had taken control of him. And this is what we have to do. We have to not submit to them.
Exactly.
Non-compliance.
Never give up, never lose your sense of humor. See the magic and the miracles and the beauty around you and share it. Wake up one sheeple a day, make a stranger smile, and do something totally out of routine every day.
Making a joke about these things and laughing about these things.
I like playing the game.
Yeah, you got to play the games, but you got to make a stranger smile every day. You got to do something non-routine every day.
Attitude and gratitude.
Just walking past them. Just smile at them, smile back.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can then see the humanity in people.
And without being, like, a creepy person.
Right. You don't have to be a loon. You don't have to be, and you never have to be violent. You have to avoid the violence. You don't have to be a loon. And, you know, find the humor, find you know, and share something.
It smiles at you, though. It's nice.
Yeah. I often used to get called, when I was little, Smiler, because I used to smile at everybody. You know, I think obviously, I'm going to say this, but I think I have a unique view on this topic. But I'm sort of here, but not really any part of it. Just a little observer. Do you all think that as well? I'm just curious.
In some ways, yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I feel I'm not alone.
Especially now that we're awake and everybody's still asleep. You're just looking at people just getting up, going to work, like,
yeah,
stop.
Yeah, it's called being an individual, though, isn't it? Kind of being aware that you're here, but in some way being an observer.
I think if you go to work, though, like my work is helping people. I support people to live their lives. So, that type of work. Yeah, and your type of work, like nursing, helping people. I think that's the type of work that people need to be doing.
But what nursing is now,
we need compass.
A year ago, it wasn't the same. Nursing now is not even about taking care of people. They made it so corporatized. It's all about paperwork. Forget if we have time to
Same
take
in
care
this
of
country.
patients. You don't have time. I have 42 patients. How can one nurse take care of 42 people?
And they got rid of orderlies. Remember, I'm old enough. We used to have orderlies, for God's sakes. Used to have guys that had to be able to lift people up, and now it's like you got one gal trying to help put somebody in bed, and they're dropping people on the floor.
And picking them up and putting them back. That's what they're doing.
Throwing them in there. And they expect to see bed sores now in hospitals. I think that's a crime. I took care of my dad at home. My dad at home for 5 years, bladder and bowel incontinent and no Foley, and he never got a bed sore once in 5 years. There's no reason for anybody to get a bed sore.
That's true, but if there's only one nurse, 3 aides, I have 42 patients. These
well, yeah, I mean, for you can't.
These elderly patients are on 20 pills apiece. I'm like,
well, the pills are part of the problem.
Well, they're giving them Oscal. Their people are 90 years old. Oscal is sorry, it's not going to work. Why are we giving them? We have to wake them up 6 o'clock in the morning.
Because they make money. Western medicine is all about making money, and all the pharmaceuticals are mostly petrochemical based, and most of them are poisons.
What's horrible is that they change these people's pills so often. We would throw away every week.
Well, that's the point.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of medicine that other countries could use, but we couldn't do anything but just throw them in the trash.
No, you're doing the other countries a favor. You're doing the other countries a favor by not spreading the poison. But what's happening is when you throw that away, it goes into the waste. And believe it or not, when I wrote about Bayer Pharmaceutical buying St. Louis County water, and they got pissed off after Paul Harvey used it on his radio show, and they came and shut my water off. I was able to show the St. Louis County water was so full of estrogen from and progesterone from both the birth control pills and the hormone replacements. No wonder all the guys need Viagra. I'm surprised any of them can get it up. But then you look at all the rest of the drugs, it's like it's a soup. I mean, my God, you wouldn't give that water to your worst enemy. And that's what's coming out of the faucet right now in St. Louis County. And then they wonder why people are brain-dead drones and guys can't get it up. I mean, for God's sakes, it's a joke.
Yeah,
hello?
Sure is.
Did I lose somebody with that one?
Got a new caller just come on the line. Jean, Jean Isha from Mississippi Bacon.
Yeah, hey,
how are you, man?
Just wanted to say, great show, guys. I mean, I just jumped in a little late, but man, I feel the heat. It's great. You know what? Just to add a little bit to that, and talking about how just hospitals and how they're instituted and how they're really all about making profit. They're not about the health. Really, it's really not.
They don't care if we take care of the patients. They don't care about that. As long as we sign off that we did and did the paperwork, that's all they care about.
Absolutely.
Aiken's got a great theory about hospitals. What you got to do is grow a farm at the back of them and give people.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. Like, what hospital do you see has a great, a farm back there with organic foods to help, heal the sick?
No, we give them crap. They give them patients everything from a can. There's nothing even homemade anymore. Everything's from a can or a jar.
Absolutely.
Not where I work. Where I work, I work for the NHS. I work in people's houses.
That's the National Health Service in Britain.
Yeah. And we have gardens. We have gardens, and we encourage the people that we support to have gardens and grow their own vegetables and herbs, and then they use them to cook their food.
Well,
but in hospitals, I was in hospital a few years ago. I was in hospital a few years ago, and the food they served up was so shit. I mean, it was just, no, oh my God, that was the worst thing. They gave me this mashed potato, and it was like wallpaper paste.
I was just suffering from the onset of type 1 diabetes, though, so my taste buds were a little off.
You must have had a tapeworm as well.
Hey, Aiken, was that a real hospital, or was that just a theory of yours? What? Aiken.
Yeah.
Was that a for real hospital you were talking about that time on the podcast?
No.
Farm.
No, actually, that was my.
That's just your idea, right? Yeah.
My idea. I think if everyone really looks at it, we are what we eat. You know. I mean, if we look at it and we really look at it to see what the hospitals are doing and are they really there for our best interest to really heal us? I mean, you know what this crazy thing is? It's a whole medical institution too. It's like the doctors who are being taught something that is way off base and way far from nature, and they don't know what they're doing, and that is wrong.
You know what else is strange? It's that the pharmaceuticals, the pharmacy now comes into these centers and looks at the patient's pills and decides to add pills for suggestions and have the doctor add pills. So the pharmacy comes in and says, well, this person's on these 10. How about giving them these 4 too? Mm-hmm. And the doctor has to say, okay, so we add another 4 pills to their 10.
Yeah, they're all petrochemically. Good.
Oh, I was saying it's not even doctors saying, oh, this person needs this medication. It's pharmacies now coming in saying your patient needs this.
Mm-hmm. And like under Jean's idea about having farms being involved in the grounds of hospitals, you know, you could grow herbs and stuff like that there as well. So
who's going to take care of them? We don't got time.
Well, that's just the patients ought to be doing it.
Because they don't want time to do stuff like that.
We need to do that. When we do the sanctuary, we also, and Rita, you're going to help with this because you're a nurse. We need to set up a real hospital that has pets in there too. Because remember how you can't have pets because of germs, which is bullshit. Because animals help lower the blood pressure. They help people get healthy better. You have herbs growing. You have plants in the hospital. You make the hospital a place for living things, not to die.
Not for exactly, yeah. And the hospital should be on the edge of the town where the land is and where, you know, you can like have a farm rather than in the middle of the town where it's all built up. You know, have a farm where you can have and a stream running by.
Fresh air, and you clean with hydrogen peroxide, not bleach and chlorine, which are poisons.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You use hydrogen peroxide, which just releases oxygen into the air, and there's no reason why you can't clean with that. That's just as hygienic, you know. But you know, chlorine and bleach and these horrible things.
It's the overuse of antibiotics that's creating a lot of these super.
True, and when you go to the hospital now, you're most likely going to come out with MRSA or VRE than when you went in there. It's horrible.
I won't even tell you. My mother died of malpractice. The things that they saw. And I actually hate going to hospitals. It's the only time I ever get sick is when I visit somebody in a hospital because of all the goddamn germs. Because, I mean, they're creating super germs on purpose. I mean, that's part of the let's kill 3/4 of the people plan, you know.
And you heard what they were trying to do to New York nurses. They were trying to force us to take the swine flu and the bird flu vaccine. And we were like, hell no. They threatened to fire all of us. And then we were like, you're going to fire us, go ahead.
Did you forget they wanted all first responders to take smallpox vaccines, which were still under testing and using live virus? They wanted them to take. They wanted first responders to take.
It's a big problem in America.
No,
and it was live virus.
How did they take it then?
They were going to, that would have re-entered smallpox into the general population because the smallpox test vaccine included live virus. I mean, I was like insane going, are these people, somebody should have been arrested for.
Change the subject. Did you guys see the Occupy Atlanta where all of a sudden tuberculosis broke out in the Occupy Atlanta?
Really?
What? Yes. I should send you the link. I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Because first of all, to get it's the strain of TB that they can't really cure with the medicine, which is strange, is because TB you get in a confined space, like in a building. Occupy, they're all outside. So how in the hell was tuberculosis spread outside, really, when it should?
Do you know what city you mentioned and what's in Atlanta? What's located in Atlanta?
The Guidestones. But
Not
I thought
just
that was strange. It was in there
it's
today.
the home of the CDC, and they have their largest Type 4 and Type 5 laboratories there with the worst possible weaponized viruses.
Well, this
that's
one is
that's
supposed
what's
to be
located.
the strong TB.
Well,
And
I
guess
guarantee
they were trying
you
to shut down.
And
shut
I
them
guarantee
down,
you it'll turn out to be a weaponized virus, just like the anthrax that was used in Washington right after 9/11. Turned out to be the weaponized anthrax from Fort Meade. I guarantee you, if they found tuberculosis in Atlanta in the Occupy, it's going to be the weaponized TB from the Type 4 and Type 5 labs in Atlanta from the CDC
well, they're trying
itself.
to use that as an excuse to shut them down so that there's no more protests and it's the outbreak of the tuberculosis. That's resistance to most antibiotics.
It probably went down something like that episode of South Park where the Indians gave the residents of South Park SARS. These guys aren't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's right. Just getting radiation.
Yeah, getting radiation from TV, yeah.
The thing that worries me about Occupy the most was Robin, whose show I'd been on a couple of times, and she's a friend of mine. She's the one who's living with Richard C. Hoagland. She's all excited because she thought it was a great thing that Occupy New York was being invited to the United Nations to give their grievances. And I said, well, wait a minute. What the hell does the United Nations have to do with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and the American shit? And I said, the United Nations is half the problem. And I said, who the hell's choosing who's speaking and and is New York Occupy going to talk to Occupy Nova Scotia and Occupy Vancouver and Occupy New Hampshire and Occupy Birmingham and Occupy Austin?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just occupy the UN.
Yeah.
Occupy the Vatican.
Oh, yeah, who the hell wants to? Wait, if you're going to occupy the Vatican, don't take your children. Just don't take your kids, you know?
Yeah, leave your kids at home.
Carolyn.
I can't believe I actually went to. I even went to a Jesuit university. I'm surprised I got out alive, huh?
Hi, Guy, you're back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys what the deal was with the Vatican embassy in Ireland. You guys know anything about that? Like, did they, what was the deal with that? Did they kick all the? Did they kick? Or is there no Vatican representation left in Ireland, or was that just
no? Well,
there's
no legal representation anymore.
Yeah, there's a thing going on.
They sent them back to
molesting people, or are they all gone?
Well, the church is still there to a very small degree, but the Vatican's representation has been sent back to Rome.
No way.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumblings going on over there.
There's lots of rumblings in Ireland because there's lots of people coming out of the closet.
No, well, not out of the closet.
Well, not out of the closet, but out of the You know what I mean? They've been coming forward to give evidence, basically.
It's the church that's
coming out of the woodwork.
right on, good for them.
I almost spit out my Evans. But, you know, the thing that gets me is to find out just, you know, we have a pope that's Pope Ratzi. The guy was a Nazi as a childhood. And then he was one of the worst people hiding the pedophilia. I think old Pope John Paul, I think they mad cowed him
he
just
was,
like...
when he was Cardinal Ratzinger...
Cardinal was Pope Ratzi now.
Actually, no, when he was just a cardinal, he helped craft what's it called? No, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, right.
But when he was Cardinal Ratzinger, he helped craft this piece of legislation which basically makes it possible for paedophiles within the church to make it illegal within the church for anyone who witnesses or knows of another paedophile within the church to spill the beans on them. They are not allowed to tell on anybody else within the church who they know is engaged in paedophilic practices of any sort.
True.
It all has to be done within the law of the church. They have their own law.
Right.
They have their own way, their own court system, the way of dealing with it, and their way of dealing with it is just by taking someone from their normal situation and putting them in a different situation, so they don't actually go through justice.
But see, it's so much.
Yeah. And
it's
they
so
pay
much
off
more.
families of people who try to bring these cases to court. They talk to the families and say this is a terrible mistake and this person should never have been allowed in the church, and blah 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 blah. And these families get paid off. So it's very rarely that these cases actually make it to court. When they do, eventually, if families are actually strong enough to actually push a case and say, no, we're not going to listen to any more of this brainwashing from the church. We're actually going to try and push this so that this person gets exposed. It's very rare that those cases actually get through. And usually people are just moved sideways.
I remember...
cardinal law, that's what it was. Ratzinger was responsible for crafting cardinal law.
And the last Pope, good old Pope John Paul II. Yeah, John Paul II. He used to work for I.G. Fabian, the Nazis company that built all the concentration camps.
Nazis very important because people don't realize that Nazis got nothing to do with being German. It's got to do with a cult. And the thing with the church you're saying is true, because if another priest spills the beans on another one, that priest will be excommunicated and lose his collar. And the reason I know is I did all the research in St. Louis. That's one of the reasons it started all the death threats and them killing my pets and everything else.
And that's why Kevin Annett was excommunicated.
And it's very organized but see, it's not just a bunch of horny priests that are lost control. What this is it's very organized. It goes back over 100 years. The research I came up with and I turned over was it's over 100 years. It's in all the major cities of the United States. It's in Ireland, it's in Germany, it's in Spain.
It's been going on from the beginning
of time. But I only went back 100 years. I didn't go back any farther. But, I didn't have the time. But, I could prove it back to 100 years. And I could prove it in that what I proved was that it wasn't just the horny priest. What they were doing was selling these children. Because what they did was these guys that are big donators to both the church and to the politicians, they don't even have to be Catholic. They could care less. As long as you give money. If you give money, it's the same people that donate to church, that donate to the politicians for their campaigns. They got to buy these children. And it's like when these parochial schools were taking these books of these kids' pictures every year. You all had to go in there and put your little beanie on. We all wore little uniforms. I was there. You get your picture taken. They picked the kids out of the book. And then these kids would get invitations sent to their home saying, little Johnny gets to be an altar boy for the retreat this weekend or the next week. Well, the family's like, oh, yeah, you got to go. All these rich guys will be there. You'll get a scholarship to college, or maybe you can go to the
so they were ordering them.
Right, well, yeah, but the families were all for it, too, because they were blind. They were thinking, oh, boy, you got to do this, because, like in St. Louis, the names like Anheuser as in Anheuser-Busch, and names like Walker as in George Walker Bush. Why do you think I got in trouble? The names I came up with were dangerous names. And these people would pick these kids out. These kids would be invited. Their families would say, you're going to go. Hell, you're going to get into college. You're going to meet rich people, get networking. You're going to meet these people. These kids were fed to these guys. And this was very organized. And guys like Ratsy were one of the guys who were very organized in hiding this. Milwaukee was terrible with this, Detroit, St. Louis, Boston, and all over the place in Europe. And Ratsy was specifically involved with hiding kids that were being abused. And there's kids that disappeared. And like in St. Louis, they're still finding kids still alive that are being abused for 10 years at a time. One or two of the stories have hit in the national news, but it's happening all the time.
Carolyn, have you seen the Penn State, where it's not the priest, but did you see all the stuff on
Yeah,
Facebook?
How do you think this bastard got the win like he did? How do you think this bastard got the win like he did?
And he watched him rape a 10-year-old kid and never reported it. He watched him rape him.
How do you think that a place like that got all these kids to be the football thing? And
I think that was an initiation. Doesn't it
Well,
sound
this
like
is just like Skull and
Yeah.
Bones.
It
Skull
does.
and Bones does the same thing.
And that's he must have did something to tick them off. That's why they're letting the cat out the bag, because all of a sudden 10 years later it's all coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That he and the coach is like, yeah, I watched them rape the 10-year-old boy, and it was horrifying. To me, it sounded like a ritual, like an initiation to a ritual to watch this.
But he never reported it. Is that
No,
right?
never reported it. They've been good friends since.
The day that Cheney
That is
shot
weird.
his lawyer in the face, there was a 12-year-old boy in the back of that car.
That's in the altars.
Did you hear what I said? The day that Cheney shot that lawyer in the face, there was a 12-year-old boy in the back of the car. Now, how come that didn't hit the news?
Well, you heard when you watched that. What's that book from Kathy O'Brien? Is that
Transformation.
No.
It's Transformation, when she's talking
America.
about how they had when they ran around in the woods for their life, and Cheney was shooting them.
Most Dangerous Game. That's actually a film. That's actually a film from the 1930s. I found that in a bookshop in Eastbourne for £2. And it was a 1930s film called The Greatest, what was it? The Most Dangerous Game. Thank you, Howard. The Most Dangerous Game, where they hunted humans. So that's where they got the idea.
Yeah, I've seen a movie like that once upon a time. I don't know where I've seen it, but I remember watching the movie.
Yeah, that's it, the film. That's it. That's what I was talking about, the black and white film from the 1930s.
Yeah, they remade it with, was Ice-T or was it Ice Cube? Ice-T did a version of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably thinking of. I think it was Ice Cube. Not Ice-T, Ice Cube.
Yeah, if you get a chance, on my page,
Okay.
I post movies that have things like They, and I had the Massacre in Rome, which showed how the Vatican actually hid some stuff that happened during the end of World War II. I try to go get these movies, and I always try to make sure that I can post them legally. I don't want to get kicked off of Facebook. I got in trouble for having the one image of the elephant with a swastika and the donkey that had the sickle, because both of them are a joke, and I actually had underneath that we really don't have a choice, and believe it or not, Facebook came in and took that whole photo album out when that was just a symbolic thing and threatened me for, if you piss us off again, we'll disable your account.
When I get homophobic comments and report that, nothing gets done. How strange is that?
So yeah, you guys, an elephant with a swastika.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
you guys in London, how come you guys never? How did you guys feel when the Queen married her Nazi husband? You guys never said anything about it, or it was just another day?
We're not that old.
Yeah, these guys are young, Rita. I don't know. You're not as old as me, are you?
It was a Nazi queen marrying a Greek.
Yeah.
You got to remember that the Queen, the current royalty in England, is actually related to Vlad the Impaler. I mean, Charles right now, his big estate's over in Transylvania. And I have excellent Romanian friends on my Facebook page. It's not Romanians, by the way, folks.
Just to say, we have an ex-Grenadier Guard in the room with us. My lovely partner Howard used to protect the Queen.
Oh, you're such a wonderful man.
Hey, my grandfather on my mother's side was a Buckingham Palace guard. He gave up his thing to follow his love to Chicago.
That's the Grenadiers. That's what the regiment Howard used to do.
What do they make those big hats out of, those things that are about 2 foot tall?
Bears.
What is it?
Bears.
Oh, God.
Bear?
I don't know. I don't know. He was supposed to be a Buckingham Palace guard. I think he wore one of those big things. But there's love letters in my family somewhere in a chest, because she left for Chicago on a boat, and he had to. It was like a big deal to give up being a Buckingham Palace guard. So it was like a big deal, because what do you pass that on to your kids, I guess, when you die or something?
Okay, we've got 2 minutes left.
Oh, you're kidding.
And it
went fast.
This last hour always just seems like a bit of a party, really.
Yeah.
It's almost like, whatever, the show's finished, let's just have a bit of fun.
Only the people you can hear that can actually hear it. It's available for...
But it will be available on podcast, so everyone will hear it. Everyone will hear the fun we've had.
Everybody will hear how we've been. Not you, Doc, no.
What's a good toast from England? What would be a good toast for you guys? What's a good one? I know Nostrovia, I know a bunch of other ones. What's a good one from England?
This is a good
now,
one.
Don't tell me here's to the
Smoke
Queen.
weed
Okay?
every day.
Hey!
Hey, you gotta send me that MP3 file, man.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Is that welcome to Costco?
Yeah.
Can't believe you like money too.
You guys have Costco's?
No.
We got Costco.
Oh, I like money. Yeah. I like money though.
There's nothing wrong with money.
Can't believe you like money too. Oh, I like money. Yeah. Can't believe you like money too.
Yes. Somebody send me that. Send me that.
I think I'm going to emigrate. I got to look into emigrating to England. The hell with this. I'm moving to Brighton. The hell with this.
Who's going?
Hey, can I become a political exile or refugee? I don't almost said political prisoner.